Live drafting an FFPC main event draft. Theo Gremminger, lead fantasy analyst right here at RotoWire, joined today by Scott Barrett of Fantasy Points. We are attempting to take down $1 million. Scott, I had the 2 spot with Mike Shope the other night. We're in the 4 spot. We've been talking about this for about half an hour, arguing out a couple of picks. But I like where we're sitting because we actually have options, and it's not one of these things where we're like, oh, the board could actually fall to us. I think we'll have like 2 or 3 guys at 4 that are in play for me. Your thoughts on picking out of the 4 spot?
Yeah, this is great. Over on the Fantasy Points YouTube channel, we drafted a main event team from the 8 spot, and we kept getting sniped all day. Fantasy Sopranos was sniping us. 2 other high-stakes legends on either side of us sniping us all draft. So, hoping to run a little bit pure. And, I really like the 104 spot because that typically gives us probably Puka Nacua or Brock Bowers or CMC, which, I think is great. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, we're talking about Puka Nacua or Brock Bowers. We're OTC. It's sort of played out the way we wanted here. I'm open-minded to this one. I know you have a lot of conviction when it comes to Puka Nacua here, or you want to put in a Bowers share. I mean, I think Brock Bowers could end up breaking fantasy this year at the tight end position. It's tight end premium. Puka Nacua, we know what he is. We have the potential suspension. You seem to think it's going to be a game, if it's anything.
Yeah, I know you weren't expecting this, Theo, but I feel like I have to argue for a tight end here, and that's my guy, Pat Freiermuth.
No. We got 20 seconds here, Scott.
Bowers, it's Puka, bro. We talked about this on the phone for 30 minutes.
I know. Okay, all right.
So what I was saying, what I've been arguing is like, why does Jamar Chase go ahead of Puka in 97% of these drafts? I don't know that that's right because Jamar Chase has outscored Sean McVay's wide receiver 1 in only 1 of 5 career seasons. And it's like, oh, well, Puka Nacua is injury prone. So is Joe Burrow. And so, I feel good about this. I honestly might have taken Puka if we were the 103. So this feels good to me. I like Brock Bowers. I like Trey McBride. I like these guys. But to me, the real value in this tight end premium format are the middle round tight ends. And I want to load up on the middle round tight end. So I don't necessarily want to lock myself into a tight end this early in the draft.
Well, Team 5 got Brock Bowers. I'll say Puka Nacua is a lunatic, and Jamar Chase is a soldier, a Boy Scout. You don't have to worry about a single thing with Jamar Chase.
Yeah, there's a 15% chance of a 1-game suspension. It's not really something that.
But then we got Puka Nacua running into
when Puka
glass
Nacua
windows.
Was fully healthy last year, he outscored Jamar Chase by like 5 fantasy points per game. He was incredible, and so that kind of matters a little bit more to me. In a format where you're trying to win the tournament bonus rounds and get $1 million grand prize, I don't care about maybe he sits out week 1.
Jamar Chase certainly has never put up a spike week in his life, Scott. We've never seen a 40-pointer from Jamar Chase.
In 1 of 5 career seasons has he outscored the Sean McVay wide receiver 1. And yeah.
Okay, well,
what did
listen.
Cooper Kupp do? And Puka Nacua is better than him. So.
And I will say, I do think I'm sort of fading Devontae Adams. I think the fact that they messed around with A.J. Brown, they were linked to Mekhi Lemon. I think it could be elite usage for Puka. This could be his Cooper Kupp year. This could be 2021 Cooper Kupp. The usage could be incredible. I do think with Cincinnati, you're getting an offense that I think is going to score more points this year. I think that the Rams defense is locked and loaded, but it doesn't matter. Puka and Jamar Chase are both really good picks. Brock Bowers is as well. We've sort of mapped out round 2. If you're listening on the podcast, come check out the YouTube feed. We'll kind of try to talk openly, but we don't want to get sniped tonight, Scott, so we will kind of refrain. Scott is open-minded to tight ends in multiple pockets of the draft. So if you want to snipe us, you got to reach well ahead of us and go ahead take Pat Freiermuth in round 15. That's your Exodia tight end.
These guys really reach though, right? They're all just ADP slaves in 100 different drafts, and then they just draft all the ADP fallers. Isn't that right?
No, I'd say that we have seen some crazy wild drafts lately because I think people are getting a little worried about it running back this year. So you're seeing some like running backs getting pushed up. I was in a main event the other night with Mike Shope, and we saw Chase Brown at the 104. And the drafter went Chase Brown, Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren, T. Higgins. and it was like a really interesting build. But I think people get worried when they're picking from the 4-5 spot where they think they have to push a running back up because, Scott, we've seen some scenarios where the 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 are straight running backs. And then you end up with a position where you're in round 3 and you're chasing running back. Maybe you don't like a couple of the options on the board. So I think we're open-minded. We have a couple of contingency plans at every single position. There's different ways to win in this format. Anybody who hasn't played FFPC, you can go use the code Theo25, get $25 free off at sign up. It's a great place to play. Scott and I have a dynasty
promo code points for 20.
or Theo25. They don't give Scott his own code. They give the whole company. Theo gets his own one here. So shout out to the guys. No, but in all seriousness, we're going to draft another FFPC main event team with a big bag Batoba. I think that's going to be over on Scott's channel. I've been over there a couple times. In the
and then
YouTube
what?
streets.
You get the rebar one?
Well, we gotta talk this out. Maybe we should let Abib and Rich choose whose channel they want to go on, like divorced parents or something like that.
Oh boy.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Kenneth Walker, Chase Brown, James Cook go 12, 13, 14. So you're going to see the gravitational pull. Scott, we got to be on our toes here.
Can I tell you the most shocking thing to me?
What's that?
Ashton Jeanty at 107. I know you had Ryan Pagnetti on. I just had him on my show again, and he monologued for like 20 minutes on Ashton Jeanty, and I don't know how you can listen to that and not move Ashton Jeanty multiple spots down your rankings.
Scott, are you also loading guys in the queue here, or are you just?
No, I'm not touching it.
I mean, okay, okay.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, it's a nice thing that when you have a partner who's chipping in when we're doing the stream together. But neither here nor there. We have 3 guys in the queue. I'm adding the contingency plan, guys. There's a couple of guys that would be really nice. I have 4 guys in the queue, and we are 3 picks away. So I think we're going to get absolutely one of them. And I guess I will throw in the Ryan Heath favorite
Drake
just
London
to talk.
Gone.
Okay, so we'll see which way this play goes. Drake London would have been a fun pick for us. We were talking about him earlier today in a combination with Puka Nacua that could have been really, really effective. All right, so we see Saquon Barkley, Drake London go off the board. Chase Brown, James Cook, CeeDee Lamb, Devon Achane, Justin Jefferson before those guys. We are 1 pick away. We're drafting for $1 million. This is a $2,200 entry fee. We have to win our league, Scott, or at least finish second to get a chance. And then there is a playoff where we can get in as well. Very challenging format. It's tight end premium, so tight ends go off the board early. This drafter is taking their time. Scott, the chat does not like how you pronounce Ashton Jeanty.
I know. Ashton Jeanty. I don't know why I do that. LeGarrette Blount. I said that for like 5 years.
Okay, so this is very easily for me. Omarion Hampton.
Oh.
So it's Hampton for me.
Sure it's not Malik Neighbors?
I mean, I
think that's fine. I think we talked about this for 30 minutes on the phone. It makes more sense to go Omarion Hampton here and then potentially get another running back in the next round.
And I think the next round we're sort of wide open if we take Hampton here. I think you like a couple of the running backs of the 4-5 turn as well. I'll bring up Colston Loveland. 28 seconds to go. Just as a consideration here, or do you want to go Hampton?
Again, I don't like the round 1 through 3 tight ends, but then I want to load up.
Okay,
and I want to go crazy.
I think this is structurally. I'm going to go Hampton because I like a couple tight end options as well. I've taken Loveland.
Hampton or Neighbors. I think Hampton makes the most sense for our build and what we're trying to do, and the value that's later. I've drafted a ton of FFPC teams. I've had a ton of success over the years, top 15 finishes, and I don't draft anywhere near as many teams as you, Theo, but my best teams are always the quantity over quality at the tight end position teams. A lot of that has to do with positional scarcity. And so, yeah, and I have reservations about Colston. I certainly get the upside, but it really feels like he's priced at his ceiling. There's no wiggle room for downside if Cole Kmet is more involved than people would like, because let's not forget it took until week 15 for him to eclipse a 60% route share in a game Cole Kmet played. So yeah, I feel good about that pick.
May I remind you that we have a dynasty league in FFPC
Yes,
where we took Colston Loveland.
Yeah,
okay. Just want to throw that out there.
Loveland in Dynasty, but this is a redraft team. And so we're going to fight. I like the older guy. I think there's some good value with some of these older guys. You call me a boomer drafter. You don't like the old guys at all. You want to go young and pretend this is a Dynasty team.
Well, I don't want to pretend it's a Dynasty team, but I want to win some money here. I do think I'm higher on Colston Loveland than you are. And also, like, we need like an intervention. I talked to Ryan Heath about this one, about how Scott's fading Colston Loveland, and I think a lot of people are really worried about you on that one. George Pickens goes to Fantasy Sopranos, who's in every single draft. We are 3 picks away here. I'm going to throw a couple guys in the queue. I mean, there's one player that I think is really boring, but I think he'd be really helpful to us here, and I'll talk about him when we're OTC. Let's see where we're at here. I feel like we don't have any pressure on us positionally because we're so balanced, Scott. And the fact that I think we're open-minded to running backs and tight ends at in the 4th round, the 5th round, the 6th round, 7th round, that I think we're sort of, let's take best available here, the pick that we feel like is the biggest edge, and kind of run with that. There's one really interesting tight end potential pick here that I want to talk out when we're OTC that I know you're not in love with, but I think could be a really fun one for us to have. And I have 2 wide receivers in the queue.
Eating cotton candy for dinner. I feel like we got to eat our vegetables here and take a wide receiver or running back. But I get it. I mean, you can talk me into it if you really feel a ton of conviction. The guys I'm going to cape up for are guys we could potentially get in round 4.
Okay, this is pretty easy for me, Scott. We went away from Brock Bowers in round 1. I think this is Tyler Warren here. I think this opens you up to some running backs that you like that are going to be there in round 4 and round 5. And Chris Olave, Nico Collins, George Pickens, Malik Neighbors, AJ Brown all go. I don't think there's a edge pick at wide receiver here. I think the edge is actually Tyler Warren. I'm going to cape up for him pretty hard here.
All right, let's do it. Let's make the fun, sexy pick. Let's have fun for once. You know, I'm not going to be, the stern parent. I'll be the fun parent.
Okay, I think it's also like, this is also a player who, as appealing as Trey McBride is in the beginning of round 2, the end of round 1 in this draft, doesn't Trey McBride have some? I mean, doesn't Tyler Warren have some potential Trey McBride like runouts in like the range of outcomes this year where you look at...
I don't get why Colston Loveland goes ahead of him in every single draft. It feels really tight to me. Tyler Warren, his final year of college, had the most yards from scrimmage of any power conference tight end ever. And then last year, before Daniel Jones fractured his fibula, he led all tight ends in receiving yards. He was ahead of Trey McBride. His yards per route run was higher than rookie season Brock Bowers. And then if you factor in all the games that were started by a literal grandfather at quarterback, he still finished with the 5th most fantasy points of any rookie tight end all time. And now you have Michael Pittman and his 20% target share no longer in the picture. Alec Pierce, maybe not fully 100% healthy. He could be an absolute PPR cheat code. And I don't see anywhere near as much downside. Maybe Loveland has a little bit more upside in the better offense, but certainly nowhere near as much downside, I think, as Colston Loveland. So I love Tyler Warren, the player. It's really just reminiscent to me, Theo. I remember in our draft over on the Fantasy Points channel, we took Jaden Daniels in like round 7, round 8. And we're like, whoa, what a value. And then it's round 14, round 15. We're like, oh, this team would look so much better if we took a running back or wide receiver there. I'm worried that's going to be the case because I am going to cape up hard for Harold Fannin Jr., for Tucker Kraft, for George Kittle, for Isaiah Likely, for Dallas Goedert, for Terrence Ferguson, because I told you over the phone, that's where I see the biggest edge in FFPC drafts this year. I think the round 5 through 10 tight ends are really inappropriately priced. I think that's where the best value is. And now that we have Tyler Warren, you're going to be arguing against those later rounds.
I don't think that I'm with you. I actually have made a lot of statements that I think, my loyal listeners here at RotoWire, they've heard me say this is the year of the tight end. I think we're going to see multiple in regular PPR scoring. I think we're going to see multiple 15 plus point per game scorers at the tight end position, higher on you than Colston Loveland. Brock Bowers, I think, is Brock Bowers. Trey McBride is Trey McBride. And Scott, I'll actually ask your opinion on this one. Like, we sort of bashed the Carson Beck, and I know that was sort of the two of us and Brett Whitefield when I was at Fantasy Points sort of talking about how we thought the Carson Beck stuff, the steam that he might go at the beginning of the second round was kind of ridiculous. But I thought Carson Beck looked okay the other day. I don't think that a Carson Beck run out is going to completely tank Trey McBride. I think McBride is kind of too big to fail. But Beck, for me, looked pretty good the other day in a preseason game.
Yeah, he looked really good in like a 2-quarter sample size up against second and third stringers.
Yeah, there you go.
But we have a much larger sample size of him looking like a sub-mediocre day 3 talent who got overdrafted by a bad franchise. I will say that scares the shit out of me with Trey McBride, because the biggest cheat code in DFS for years was anytime Jacoby Brissett starts, play his tight end in DFS. And so if there's a run out where Carson Beck is starting the second half of the season for the Arizona Cardinals, that's like me shaving 6 fantasy points per game off of Trey McBride's projection. So that's a little worry. I know he looked good. I know there were some backers. Ryan Pagnetti was a big Carson Beck backer, but I got to trust my guy Brett, who, again, had a day 3 grade on Carson Beck.
Well, there you go. Scott Barrett disagreeing with me adamantly that I thought he looked all right. And I realized that this is backups, but it's his first game as a pro. He showed a willingness to push the ball downfield. You just brought up Ryan Pagnetti was all over it and said he thinks people are sort of underestimating this Arizona. It doesn't matter. We have Trey McBride on our other main event team. Through 3 rounds, Scott Barrett and I have Omarion Hampton in round 2, Tyler Warren in round 3, to go with Puka Nacua in round 1. I think, Scott, there's a chance that we drafted the tight end 1 overall and the wide receiver 1 overall with a running back that can score 15 touchdowns this year. And I think, a year from now, we might be talking about, do we consider Omarion Hampton at like the 105? That's how good a season I think he could have. I understand there's some downside risk, but Mike McDaniel offenses just print when it comes to running backs. And I'll bring up another preseason takeaway. Kamani Vidal was out there playing when they benched everyone else. So the idea that, I think that was a signal for us. We got to start loading the queue a little bit. We are 6 picks away. See Javonte Williams go at the beginning of the 4th round. T. Higgins goes at the turn. The drafter at the 12 spot goes Kenneth Walker, Chase Brown, Ladd McConkey, T. Higgins. I like the value they got with T. Higgins there. We see a wide receiver run at the end of round 3 with Zay Flowers, Emeka Egbuka, Garrett Wilson, Ladd McConkey, T. Higgins. We're going to see wide receivers start to fly off the board. We're anticipating another running back run. Breece Hall falls to the 308. Jeremiah Love at the 306. Scott, is that about in line where you've got those guys, or did you push him down a little further with the injury worries?
Well, I was a big Jeremiah Love hater from the start, so you know that. So he was already pretty far down in my ranks. Breece Hall, I don't think I moved at all, actually, but that was more just like, I don't know. He was maybe in a tier, and I dropped him down to the start of another tier. Okay,
so we are 5 picks away here. Scott, I'm going to
You promised me my guy's going to be here, Theo.
Well, I hope he's going to be here.
He
might be gone. I said.
What are the odds? I think I'd put it at 45%.
I'm going to say 60%. I'm going to say 60%.
Okay. All right.
There's been some notable fading of him. Did you move DJ Moore up in your rankings? Just curious.
No, but if he has another showing like he did, I'm going to have to capitulate a little bit. Brett was really impressed by his film, so maybe he's not washed. Maybe he was just playing through a weird, what was it, a testicular injury last year, Theo?
It wasn't great. Let's leave it at that. Josh Allen still on the board here, Scott. Dare to dream the impossible dream.
Oh, please, no.
No, I'm not going to force that one, but I will say
I couldn't believe it. We took Jaden Daniels, felt like such a good value, and
Josh Jacobs goes.
Awful.
Okay, so I think
there's one more guy who I love,
who's going to be sitting there at the 504. He's not going to go in the 4th round.
You lie to me. You say that, and then they never fall. And then you make me take Travion Henderson.
No, I will not make you take Travion tonight. We took Travion Henderson.
I'm never going to talk to you again. Friendship's over if we take Travion Henderson.
We took Travion Henderson notably. It's been a real contentious argument between Scott and I all off season long. I still believe that upside wins championships in fantasy football. Scott believes in the older guys who are a little bit injured. Tetairoa McMillan, Josh Allen go off the board. Josh Jacobs, 3 guys that I had in the queue. Where are you at on Tetairoa McMillan this year? Scott, if you could take a look at the guys that I have in the queue now, see if you want to add anyone else in.
If Tet McMillan's quarterback wasn't the worst starter in the league, I'd be really bullish on him. But alas. No,
okay.
Dude, what the heck? No.
Okay, so I'll take this guy out.
No.
I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. I'm going to take you want number 2 in the queue?
There's 3 guys in the queue. Those are your options.
One is the clear pick for us.
Ugh.
Ugh.
I worry about the lack of running backs after the Travion Henderson pick.
Well, I think we've got a fail-safe running back that's going to be there at the 504 that we both like.
Ooh, all right. We're forced into it now.
Oh God, it's disgusting.
It's not at all.
Okay.
I would take this running back over Kyron Williams easily, over Javonte Williams, or maybe over Jeremiah Love.
Okay, I don't love either of these guys. I think that at least the top one I can sort of get behind a little bit. You want to go with number 2 over number 1 here?
Either one is fine by me, Theo. Just as long as it's one of those 2.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God,
I'll
you're killing
owe you
me.
one, and you could call in this favor.
Okay, so we are going to take Scott Barrett. You are OTC here. Do you want Cam Scatterbu or David Montgomery over my awesome running back, who's number 3? Pick
dog shit running back.
Scatterbu or Montgomery.
RB3.
Let's go Scatterbu then. You want to go Scott?
Okay. That's great. Yeah, great by me. A guy who you famously refused to let me draft in round 9 last year. We'll take him round 4 this time.
No, hold on a second. We had Cam Scatterbu on a number of teams last year. We wanted to scale it back like once, and guess what, Scott? He got hurt. So your big Exodia running back last year got hurt. So we lose a little bit of an edge with the Cam Scatterbu pick, but we gain something
there's
structurally.
No losing of edge.
I know. I'm just breaking your balls. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so Cam Scatterbu's fine. I'll say, Scott,
are you really that upset about it?
No, I'm not. I'm way. Okay. I would have been way more upset by taking one of the older guys. I don't love the run out with Scatterbu here. I worry a little bit about it, but I do think that there's a chance his scoring could be similar to last year. Let us know in the comments what you think about the Cam Scatterbu pick. So through 4 rounds, we have Puka Nacua, Omarion Hampton, Tyler Warren, Cam Scatterbu. Scott, you said we're not drafting a dynasty team, but this is a good-looking dynasty team. And I think we have a chance that I think that our 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round picks, if we have a run out where Cam Scatterbu stays healthy for the rest of the year, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round picks could all be drafted earlier next year. So I think we have some unknown upside here. We were correct to sort of play the running back.
This.
Yeah. Bucky Irving goes here.
Bucky Irving in round 4? Are you kidding me?
Bucky Irving goes at the 411. There's got to be a main event high.
Where does your boy Kenneth Gainwell go? Baker Mayfield said his talent was almost unbelievable today.
I mean, my guy Kenneth Gainwell, he's sort of one of those players where you can't really predict. I think that if you want Kenneth Gainwell with this team, you probably might not get him because he's probably going to be gone by the 811. He could be there at the 811. But Bucky, this seems a little early. So team 2 goes Bijan Robinson, AJ Brown, Nico Collins. I love that start. Then they go Bucky Irving. I think they're worried that the team drafting 1 is going to go running back here. This could be the running back run, Scott. We have a lot of balance on our team now. We have tight end. We have a wide receiver 1, Alpha, and Puka. And then we see team number 1 go DJ Moore. So team 2 sort of misread that. We'll see if team number 1 leans in and goes pure hero RB, or do they grab a running back? Mike Shope and I took Bashal Tootin the other day at the 502. I know Ryan Heath and I like him more than Scott does.
David Montgomery goes. I would have pounded the table for Montgomery if he fell to us. So might have done you a favor.
Well, I think we're pretty open in we could go several directions with this next pick. I'm not against taking a running back here and continuing.
So I am, just because there's no one else I like. I mean, if this is your guy who I hate and I hate, but you really want to pound the table, we can have that, hash that out here. What about the tight ends? Is there any chance Laporta or Fannin make it back to us in the next round?
Okay, so for me,
we're on the clock.
Yeah, we're OTC here. I think that this pick is probably okay. I'll throw out Christian Watson. I like your idea of Harold Fannin. I'll throw Jadarian Price into the mix, Scott. And I will say, if we take Price, then we are really strong at running back and we kind of push it. But if you want to go with wide receiver or Fannin, I like the idea of Fannin, and we really are kind of
it's anyone in this queue is A+ by me. Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans, Parker Washington, Jadarian Price, Harold Fannin, Sam Laporta. You can make this pick, Theo.
I'm very open-minded to several players here.
I'll say Terry McLaurin is highest by ADP.
I think that the move is
Price.
Yeah, let's take Jadarian Price, and I think that
All right.
it's a little bit early.
Price.
It's a little bit early, but I think that
we're set at running back.
Yeah.
We don't have to do the handcuff game that I hate.
Well, no, timeout. You take Omari and Hampton, I think it's perfectly reasonable to take Kamani Vidal because it's an elite offense, and you have 12 rounds of separation between the two players. And also, if you're going to go fragile at running back, I don't mind cuffing. Now, the thing that would be wrong to do would be to double tap the Cam Scadaboo situation and take Tyrone Tracy now that Najee Harris is there. I don't think there's any sort of an edge with handcuffing that, but I do think there's something to be said of having a Kamani Vidal here, especially considering that Keaton Mitchell is probably going to go round 9 or round 10, and if Hampton went down, Kamani Vidal would be a massive add. So we leaned into the running back position, which a lot of people are going to look at this and say, this is sort of like, what are you guys doing? You're passing all this wide receiver talent.
But there's so much wide receiver value this year. If any one of those three guys fall to us, I'm going to be doing backflips.
So Tyler Warren gives us the structural flexibility that if we do get steamrolled here at tight end, we have Tyler Warren to lean on. And Scott, we're open-minded to guys like you said, the Goddards of the world. 6th and 7th round turns, I think we're looking at wide receiver, tight end would be the ideal run out for us. But I think it could be tight end. It could be wide receiver. That's sort of the beautiful thing about
Josh Downs, round 5.
That's crazy.
Do you know who he just went over? He went over 2 Exodia wide receivers. Crazy.
Josh Downs also has to deal with Keenan Allen. I dropped Josh Downs in my rankings. I didn't bury him. But Scott, I had somebody sort of laughing at my knocking Josh Downs take and saying, you're allowed to have multiple wide receivers out on the field, Theo. But like Keenan Allen, there's got to be some overlapping concerns, even if you're a big Josh Downs bull. You've already got Tyler Warren to deal with, who's going to be a top 3 targeted tight end in the NFL this year. Parker Washington goes. That is Scott's guy. We took him multiple drafts. You're going to have to let it go on this one, Scott. But
the first league I'm in where I don't have Parker Washington.
Well, you ended up with the structural running backs. And I'll say, Scott, you're going to like the wide receivers available at the 6-7 turn. There's going to be multiple guys here. If you are not subscribed to the channel, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on the podcast, do me a favor, hit the 5-star button, write us a review. It doesn't cost you anything, helps us out a lot. And I get to get people like Scott Barrett to join me on this show. Also, go check out Scott's channel. I'm going to be drafting a main event team with Scott and probably a B-Bag Batoba. Shout out to our guy Abib, who always runs pure in the FFPC. We usually split a team. Make sure you're also checking out all of the written work we have over at RotoWire. Dan Fornick's offensive line article dropped. And Scott, I dropped my top 26 rankings as an article. You got to subscribe for the rest. But did you read my top 26?
No. Why would you do a top 26?
Because it's 2026. So I give them a little write-up of the top 26 players for 2026. Okay. And then it has a link to go for the top 200. If you want access to my full rankings as well as my FFPC targets, use the code Theo35 and get 35% off. Scott, I actually, I read your article when it dropped. You don't read my articles when they drop. I guess I didn't put it out on X.
You gotta text me. You gotta tell me.
I gotta send it.
Check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So Scott, I have Brett Whitefield coming on later this week. What should I talk to Brett about?
Ask him why he hates Luther Burden, because I don't get it. Ask him why he hates Chicago. He hates their pizza. He hates their quarterback. He hates Luther Burden. So ask him why he's wrong about Luther Burden. But that's a great get for you, Theo. Brett Whitefield, I honestly think is the best film guy in the game. I think he's up there with like the Dane Brucklers, Daniel Jeremiah's, Kurt Warner's of the world. And he's not really a known name, but he's really, I think, the best. His only miss was JJ McCarthy. His only like really bad take ever was JJ. And I feel like that's not his fault, because he values mental processing so much for a quarterback. And like we find out after the fact that Connor Stallions was just giving him all of the defensive plays. So maybe he gets a mulligan on that one. I don't know.
I'll give a shout out. Team 11 is in one of my dynasty leagues. Jarko.
All right, I got to get a beer. I'm miserable. Mike Evans.
Oh my God. Give me a
Fannin off the board. Tucker. Oh, this sucks. We're off the rails, Theo.
You have Tyler Warren here and Scott Barrett quitting mid-draft. Harold Fannin goes to team 12. You see Mike Evans at team 11. Scott's Exodia wide receiver Mike Evans off the board. Harold Fannin would have been a nice one. I think we're going to have access to another tight end here at the end of the 6th round. But, no pressure to get a tight end when you have Tyler Warren, who's going to catch 100 balls this year. We're going to see another wide receiver run coming up in round 6. You're going to start seeing some of these upside guys going off the board. But Fannin and Kraft go off the board. And we only have one quarterback so far in Josh Allen. We'll see if we see Lamar Jackson before we pick.
What's going on?
Shout out to Nikki Banks. Shout out to Henry Muto. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting these streams over here. Nikki Banks told me that she likes watching my streams on RotoWire a lot more than when I was on Fantasy Points. Appreciate that, Nick.
Hey, listen,
Nikki.
that's not necessary. We don't need to.
No, there's no competition. No competition. Scott, people are appreciating that you are tilting out. And Travion Henderson goes off the board here at the 601. An excellent pick by Team 12.
Ugh.
Team
The
11.
Anti-Exodia, Travion Henderson.
Our guy Derek Brown from Fantasy Pros is in the stream. Shout out to D-Bro. My guy Jarko, who's in a couple of Dynasty leagues with me, people like his start. Trey McBride, James Cook, Garrett Wilson, Javonte Williams, Mike Evans, Devontae Adams. Scott, he drafts both 30.
Oh,
Team 11. He drafts the two old wide receivers that you like. He gets both of them. I like that team. And
listen, let's keep this friendly.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you. My guy, Dill Esquire in the chat says Tootin over Price. Where are you at on that one? Bashal Tootin versus Jadarian Price. I took Jadarian Price with Scott tonight. I took Bashal Tootin last week with Mike Shope. Scott, I think they're both decent bets, sort of in the dead zone, the new dead zone. Where are you at on head to head? Has Ryan Heath broken you down yet?
No, I have Jadarian Price one spot ahead. If you want to hear the anti-Bashal Tootin argument, you can head on over to the Fantasy Points Twitter channel. We dropped that last night. But I think the full debate, I debated in favor of David Montgomery. He argued for Bashal Tootin. But yeah, I don't really actually dislike Bashal Tootin. But yeah, I do have Montgomery higher, much higher. Jadarian Price one spot above. Oh, Sam Laporta off the board too. This sucks. Christian Watson off the board. This sucks.
Yeah, this is a tough run out for us. There's a couple of players I'm putting in the queue that I think are fine options. We're 2 picks away here. Scott, I think you might get your way with one of your guys here. And we're going to have to be pot committed to recovering at another position, but I think number 4 in the queue would be probably the pick for us.
I have not checked the queue. Oh, this guy is a veto for me. Is off my board. Hold
on a second.
I left 3 guys in the queue for you.
Okay, I'm looking. So Brian Thomas goes. That's a tough run out. I think that this pick.
Where I lean. You know strongly where I lean.
Yeah, I think it's fine, but I think you're going to get steamrolled at the other position.
What other position? Wide receiver?
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's okay. I think we can support this in our build because we're not going to be chasing running back at all here. This is a tough run out here. Let's see which way this manager at the 608 goes. This is a tough pick here, Scott.
Well, you have a fairly smart chat. They know the pick.
I think that
right here.
I think the team knows what they have to do with this pick, and I think that they're between the same two guys we are at the top of the board. Okay, and they take Mondre. So, Scott, we have, let's not say the guys in the queue because one might come back around.
Yeah.
I think we lock in George Kittle here, and I think we lock in George Kittle, and then I think one of the two guys we have in the queue could come back around. You're good with that? Okay.
Yeah. Look at that.
All right, so we'll take George Kittle.
Compromise.
And we actually talked about this scenario when we spoke on the phone about when the order came out. I took George Kittle again with Mike Shope the other day. I think structurally he gives you a potential huge edge in the flex, especially with Tyler Warren. And when you get him at the 609 here, even if he plays 14 games, I think you have a shot. And shout out to Josh Gillingham, one wide receiver. LOL, terrible team. Josh, I'm going to be drafting in the FFPC streets all summer long. I'm going to look for Josh Gillingham in my FFPC main events. I'm sure I'll see you in Vegas there too, Josh.
Shout out BC 16300. Scott plays the right way. Fantasy is about who you avoid, not who you draft. Theo, is there a better guess? You have all these guys. I love this player.
Hold on a second.
I don't dislike anyone.
Fantasy, okay, yes. I mean, that's an apt statement. I do think Scott. We've been arguing a little bit because you've liked a lot of these hurt guys / older guys this year more so than in previous years. Scott, you've usually had more Exodias who are younger. Mike Evans, the first year that Scott Barrett has been. I mean, that's the first time. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mike Evans went after Josh Downs, bro. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's at cost, and Hall of Famers age more gracefully than normal people, normal human beings. So old does not mean dust. Thank you, D-Bro.
Thank you, D-Bro. Okay, so let's just recap our team for the podcast audience. Puka Nacua, Omarion Hampton, Tyler Warren, Cam Scatterbu, Jadarian Price, George Kittle. So we go 2 tight ends, 3 running backs, 1 wide receiver. We're in very good shape at tight end, very good shape at running back.
How is your guy still on the board? I'm flabbergasted.
I think the vibes are not great.
Was the preseason game really that rough? It was rough.
It was rough. We are going to put some contingent options in there. I have an old guy that I think you'll like that I'm going to put in the queue.
Oh, boy.
I need to pay attention to this one. Okay, Chris Godwin goes off the board. He would have been an interesting decision.
Oh, Carnell Tate goes. That's who was blowing my mind. He was still there.
Yes. And we are 3 picks away here.
Marvin Harrison Jr. goes before Michael Wilson. That's a yikes. That's a mistake. Oh, and Travion goes before Ramondre. Ugh.
Yeah, it's a tough run out here.
Those are all Theo's guys.
This is a tough run out for sure.
No, it's not. Our guy's still there, right?
We have 2 guys in the queue.
I'm not taking a handcuff. I'll take the guy who starts week 1.
I think that's fine.
Well, hold on. Let me look at wide receiver. Is BTJ still there, or did I just take him off the queue?
BTJ's gone eons ago.
All right.
Okay, so I think this one.
Oh. So here's what I would say. I think because we're weak at wide receiver 2, I think Cortland Sutton makes sense as a floor play. You know me, I hate floor
No, I don't
plays.
want Cortland Sutton.
Okay, then it's Michael Wilson, or it's Quentin Johnson, or it's Casey Concepcion. I think it's one of those 3. I have Michael Wilson higher, but I like all 3 guys. Well, go ahead.
I mean, I like the idea of Casey Concepcion or Michael Wilson. I made this. I was OTC with this one with Davis Maddock earlier.
You gave me Kittle, so if you want to take this one, you can take it.
Do we push KCC up to where he belongs here?
That's fine by me.
KC or Wilson, your call right here.
I have them
Make
3
a call.
spots apart. I have Michael Wilson higher, but I mean, in this format,
Let's
I would take
KC.
KC. In this format, I would take KC for the upside.
Yeah, let's take KC. We're establishing a new ADP.
We talked about the concern with, which by the way, he was going round 10, like two.
Yeah, we took him
ago?
in. We took him in round 10. Willing to push him up here.
Yeah.
We are
I'm not taking him in a ESPN team, because I think there's a good chance, it takes him a while to break out. But the second half upside for KC, who we love, versus, maybe the second half downside for Michael Wilson if Carson Beck is starting. But I do really like both guys.
Yeah, so this is a weird team, Scott, but I do think Casey Concepcion gives us this high upside potential wide receiver too. I think the 8, 9, 10 rounds, we're sort of still breaking ties to wide receiver. It's going to get really choppy at wide receiver when you get into like round 11, round 12. There's going to be some interesting players at round 8, 9, 10. Tight end, we've got Tyler Warren, George Kittle. We have 3 running backs, and we have Puka Nacua. A nightmare scenario for this team would be an injury to Puka Nacua. We would get really thin at wide receiver. This is probably this is the most run-heavy main event team I've had in quite some time, but I do think that we'll see how the run out goes, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're going to have to get some wide receiver upside and a couple of guys structurally, but I don't hate it. And I think we're not going to get jammed at running back. We don't feel like we have we're up against it to sort of piecemeal running back together over the back half of the 10 rounds. So it gives us options with a wide receiver and tight end. We also are going to have quarterback options. We have access to a potential very late Matthew Stafford, a potential Brock Purdy. So there's some correlation there. And I think Justin Herbert, Omari, and Hampton would also be a pairing that we could put together if it's an offense that's just printing.
That sounds good to me.
Team 5 after us waited on running back, and they end up with Ramondre Stevenson and Jalen Warren in rounds 6 and 7 to go with a Brock Bowers, Derrick Henry start. 3 solid wide receivers. I'm not a huge Rashee Rice guy, but Rashee Rice at the 305 I can sort of get with. Love the Luther Burden pick they made. And Terry McLaurin I think is fine, middle of the 5th. It's some interesting
middle of the 5th.
Interesting builds in this one, Scott. I'll say that team number 8 with JSN Justin Jefferson is an awesome start. And then they get Breece Hall and Josh Jacobs, and then they get Parker Washington.
It's not really that great of a start.
I like that start a lot. I know I'm higher on Jefferson than you are, but Breece Hall.
We took. How about this? We took George Kittle in round 6 in non-tight end premium leagues over the last 2 years combined in PPR. George Kittle averages the exact same fantasy points per game as Justin Jefferson, who this guy took in round 2. And that's not tight end premium. So just imagine for tight end premium.
Okay, that's a fair shake, but I think Justin Jefferson's in store for a bounce back. Where do you have Justin Jefferson behind
Drake London?
And do you have him behind AJ Brown?
Ahead of AJ Brown.
Ahead of AJ
Drake
Brown.
London.
Okay, there you go. We are finishing out round 7 here. And if you're listening on the podcast, make sure you come check out the stream. Lamar Jackson goes as the QB3, and Scott, it's yet another draft where Josh Allen goes in the middle of the 4th round, and then we don't see QB2 off the board until the 7:02 with Drake May. This is an even larger gap than the last time we drafted between QB1 and QB2. So round 7, you see Drake May, you see Lamar Jackson go off the board. Josh Allen sort of in a tier of his own. Some other notable things we've seen is Isaiah Likely goes in the middle of the 7th round. Your thoughts on the Isaiah Likely usage with multiple tight ends working in with the first team offense? Are you like playing into any of this with Isaiah Likely? Or are you docking him in your rankings update?
Not yet, because every beat writer was predicting a full-time usage, 75% plus route share. And so, but it's something I'm monitoring. If it happens again next week, I'll probably move him down. I actually already moved Dallas Goedert above Isaiah Likely in my rankings, but in a tight end premium, I'd still have Likely higher.
So we have Mac Nova. Shout out to Mac Nova, who's in the chats and a lot. And he says it's the earliest KCC has gone in a main event. I was in an NFFC draft today, and I pushed him up. I think that we need to anticipate where ADP is going with KCC. I think KCC is going to run out really well this season.
In my draft guide, I said KCC was the most mispriced player in FFPC leagues, but that was ADP from like 10 days ago.
Shout out to Rumhorse in the 9-hole. Those two guys are great drafters. I'm draft against them in Vegas. I'm going to be in the $3,000 FFPC varsity with Dan Williamson and Andrew Schellenberg. We go up against those guys every year there. And then I'm going up against them in the big payback draft too. That's on Friday. So if you're live in Vegas at the FFPC drafts, definitely come and say what's up. I'm going to be drafting all day for 2 days there. And then one day I'm in the NFFC drafts at a different casino. Scott, you always talk about coming out to Vegas. When are we going to split a team out in Vegas, man?
We should do it, man. That would be a lot of fun.
100%. Definitely have to do it.
You know, I have a sub doing the $100,000 buy-in at the pool in Vegas.
There's a NFFC Legacy League where the NFFC Legacy League is the 100K buy-in, and there's a bunch of managers sort of splitting teams. It's like 30K a pop. It's or 33K, 35K a pop, and it's this massive draft that they're doing. Not the same weekend I'm out there. It's the weekend before. It's at Circa and not at Caesar's Palace where the other NFFC drafts are. But that's crazy. It's 100K entry. High stakes going at a whole nother level. Joe Burrow goes at the 712. So they get the T. Higgins, Joe Burrow correlation. T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, and A.J. Brown, Drake May, I believe, are the two most common stacks right now in FFPC main events and best ball tournaments. So we see two more of them tonight. A.J. Brown team drafts Drake May. T. Higgins team drafts Joe Burrow. The Jamar Chase Joe Burrow combination is actually way more rare. So interesting one there. We are into round 8. We are picking out of the 4 spot. So we have at the 809. Blake Corum was in our queue. He goes off the board. Scott, you don't like Blake Corum? Come on, man.
Hey, BC 16300 just said Burrow is the single worst home league ADP right now in all platforms. I basically said that on my YouTube today that drops probably tomorrow or the day after, going over my QB rankings and tiering out the best values. I think Burrow was the only quarterback I had in the F tier.
You're not a big fan of Joe Burrow. I could see a scenario where
he's my favorite in real life football quarterback, but for fantasy, he's like fancy Brock Purdy, expensive Baker Mayfield. It's just, he doesn't run. I mean, or Dak Prescott is maybe the best comp. Like, why does Dak Prescott go 5 rounds later? Prescott's the favorite to lead the league in passing yards this year.
So we are
Prescott isn't hurt as frequently as Joe Burrow, the most injury-prone quarterback in football.
Yeah, you've made the
Stribling
Brock Purdy. Stribling also went in the NFFC draft I was in earlier today. Went super, super early. He's starting to move up and up and up. So the drum beats are really good with Stribling. We are 2 picks away. I've got the queue loaded up. Take a look at it, Scott, when you get a chance. Quarterback-wise, we have 4 quarterbacks off the board.
Tony Pollard off the board. I was looking at him. I think it's these top 2 guys. I feel good about it.
I think there's a run out where we end up with both. So I think we have to take the one at the top if he's there.
It's fine by me.
Okay, so the team in front of us has 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. I wonder if they're going to pull the trigger on potentially a Jaden Daniels here because they have Terry McLaurin, or a potential Caleb Williams because they have Luther Burden.
How late is Tyson going to fall?
I don't know if Tyson's going to play till like week 9. He's a hard bet. Cody Carpentier and I were talking about this and sort of just the way the bye lays. Tyson's a tough bet, and then sort of nightmare scenarios of re-aggravation and all that kind of stuff. I mean, really, really a tough one. Tough player to consider. 2 months is really a tough run out for a rookie, and then you have to wonder, is there going to be a ramp up period? Then you have to factor in, how's the season looking for the Saints? The Saints should be good. They're like second to win it in Vegas for their division. But I don't know. I get really bad vibes from this, Scott. He's a player. It's not okay, and QJ goes. So we have to take, I think, Wilson here.
Wow.
Okay, so let's take Michael Wilson.
Yeah, let's take him. That's great. I mean, there's another player I love and would be ecstatic with, but you're saying there's a chance we get both of them where, I mean, like, that would be a dream run out if we could get. Yeah, that looks awesome. Michael Wilson is supposedly Arizona's Puka Nacua, And hey, in the second half last year, he was Jerry freaking Rice. So, I think there's good upside there in round 8 for certain.
So we recover a little bit at wide receiver. It's still the weak point of our team. There's two other wide receivers we have in consideration. Wilson, Joe King in the chat, 95 targets over his last 9 games. And yeah, I'll say that we were lucky that Wilson was still available. Yeah, this run out could have been way worse for us. Ending up with Michael Wilson in the 8th round, end of the 8th round as our wide receiver 3. This has been a nice kind of run out for us. If we can get one, somebody saying Michael Wilson is Jerry freaking Rice. You're getting quoted with. We'll put that on a quote graphic for Scott Barrett. No, we don't do quote graphics over here. My old job, we put Scott in a bad pre-fantasy points. I was at a place that put Scott on a bad quote graph, and that was a rough run out, Scott. So we had to remove that thing.
That's right.
Not doing that over here. No. Jaden Reed goes, question, your thoughts on Jaden Reed, sort of the run out where I know we really like the talent. I know Ryan Heath really likes him. I took him on a team with Ryan Heath, a 350. Are you worried about sort of the usage for him? Previous years, it was sort of like we wanted more stuff. Yeah,
he doesn't play in 12 personnel. We know that. He's fancy Khalil Shakir. I just don't see... I mean, he's a good player. I mean, like what is it? Last 3 years, I think he's top 12 or fringe top 12 in fantasy points per route run. But yeah, I mean, I certainly like Michael Wilson more, Quentin Johnson more, Cortland Sutton more, Dejon Stribling more. So yeah, not a guy I'm keeping up for in round 8.
So we have 3 players in the queue. We'll talk about them when we get OTC. Jaden Daniels still available. All right. Well, there we go. Dallas Goedert goes. Well, I mean, Scott, we're in pretty good shape here at tight end.
We should have worried about that team.
Yeah, we're not crazy worried. I wonder if they pull the trigger on Jalen Hurts and get the correlation player.
I'm going to disgust you here with who I put at the top of the queue.
No, there's some easy picks here in the queue. If one is there, I'll be curious to see who you add to the queue. I'll throw one guy in there too. No, he can't be the pick, Scott. I took him with Ryan Heath, though, and we were disgusted by it.
There's a clear bull case. Like, if he's not washed, he's going to go crazy. And even if he is washed, he could have like 8 to 12 touchdowns.
Yeah. Okay. So we are one pick away here. We'll talk about him, and he might be there in round 10, so you probably shouldn't talk about him.
Okay.
All right. So we are OTC here, Scott, and I think that there's 2 players in consideration for me, and I'll let you pick. It's Stephon Diggs or Matthew Golden.
Ugh. Matthew Golden was an awful prospect who had a historically bad
who's going to be on the field. Okay, we are taking
Stephon. The chat is begging you to take Stephon Diggs.
Listen. There's 2 guys in consideration. Are you a man of the people or not?
No,
not when it comes to this thing. I do respect Sean G and Nikki Banks, though, and Dave Waters. So I have some good people. It's Diggs, but I do want to cape up for Matthew Golden and just say Matthew Golden is viable here, but it's Stephon Diggs. Diggs, there's a non-zero chance that Diggs outscores your guy McLaurin this year. How about that? That?
There's a 0% chance that happens.
How about that?
0%.
How about that? Okay, so we end up with our 4th wide receiver in round 9. We've gone 3 straight wide receivers in round 7, 8, and 9. You get Casey Concepcion, Michael Wilson, Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs averaged 12.5 points per game last year in Buffalo, had 1,000 receiving yards. Now he ends up on a Washington team. The vibes are really good with him right now in Washington. It's probably a 65% chance that McLaurin out targets him, but I'll give it a small shot on Diggs. I think he's going to end up being a very helpful player. And we look at like what Debo did last year. Debo was like 11 points per game. I think Diggs has a lot more juice left in the tank than Debo did last year in Washington.
Yeah, so I have to be honest. I'm feeling really good about this build now. You have a stud wide receiver 1 in Puka Nacua. You have a great upside wide receiver 2 in KCC or Michael Wilson. And then Stephon Diggs, I think, is going to be, I don't know, a mid-range to low-end wide receiver 3. He's an older guy, so maybe he's a little bit better early in the season, which kind of works with our build. And then, we have 3 really good running backs, 2 really good tight ends, and we're going to take the Exodia quarterback in the double-digit rounds.
Yeah, we got recovered pretty well here. Again, it's not a perfect team at wide receiver, but I think when you go with Tyler Warren in round 3, and then, I think the 2-for-2s here, Scott, pretty easy for me. We could have passed on Scattaboo or Price and pushed up a wide receiver. We could have passed on George Kittle and taken Carnell Tate, and then we could have ended up with maybe a tight end in round 7 instead of KCC. There's a couple of 2-for-2s, but I like the idea of Tyler Warren and George Kittle together. If we get 14 games healthy out of George Kittle with Tyler Warren, I think that could be a really effective pairing. We have no quarterback yet. We're starting to see a quarterback run. No, I agreed. Completely agree. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and Trevor Lawrence all go here in round 9. We had no quarterbacks go in round 8. You start to see some additional running backs go off the board. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt goes to team 1. J.K. Dobbins goes to team number, Team number 8 or 7, excuse me. And then we see Mark Andrews off the board. So
that's who I was keeping up for. But you know what? Chat very worried about the wide receiver 2 spot. You were very worried about the so it made everyone happy, and so there's that.
Yeah, and question for you: we talked about sort of Josh Downs with the run out after the Keenan Allen signing. Does it do anything to Tyler Warren? For me, it's way less of an impact on Warren.
So I don't know that I fully fleshed out my thoughts on this, if I'm being honest, but I kind of don't see Keenan as being a full-time player. It's a team that wants to run a lot of heavy personnel, and they kind of said Josh Downs is going to be in that no matter what this year. And he kind of needs to be load managed anyway. I don't know that it's like much of it. He's a guy who's had a 20% target share every year of his career, sure. And he certainly seemed to hurt QJ and Ladd last year, but I don't know. I really didn't move Downs down too much, and I didn't move Warren down at all.
I mean, I didn't bury Downs, but I did put him down a little bit. Keenan Allen, every single year he's been healthy and played at least 14 games. He's had a really solid target share. He's been heavily targeted. We saw him last year sort of really running out pretty pure to start out last year. I think it's sort of the veterans deference thing where you talked about this one last year, Scott, where Keenan Allen shows up in LA and Herbert just targets him. We saw how high those target totals were early in the year. So I think we could see sort of the same thing where Michael Pittman's gone. Could the Keenan Allen role be sort of similar? I don't know. I worry a little bit about Josh Downs. And then if Alec Pierce comes back, do we see 2 wide receiver sets where Downs is not on the field? So I just worry about some things like that. I think Downs is a really talented player, but it's sort of a little bit like the Jaden Reed corollary where...
No, he has so much more upside than Jaden Reed because there's a real chance he's an every down player. And over the last 2 years, whenever he's had a route share over 66%, he puts up wide receiver 1 numbers. And I think that's going to be the expectation for him. So I love Josh Downs, not as much as this guy who took him in round 5 over Parker Washington, but I do love me some Josh Downs. And at the end of the day, not that worried. Certainly, not that worried.
Matthew Golden at the 9-12, very good pick by team number 12 there.
Someone is telling me Stella is piss water. Not a sponsor of RotoWire, apparently.
No, we don't have.
Not.
We don't. Unlike Scott's company, we don't have beer companies sponsoring us. There you go. But Stella. I don't know. That's not really a lowbrow beer. That's kind of a flex by Scott to break out of Stella.
That's what I thought. I mean, it is a tall boy, but what do you drink, Theo? Do you just not drink at all?
Right now, I'm enjoying a Whole Foods brand seltzer water, and then I actually grabbed. My son's a baller, really good little basketball player.
That's
right.
I
grabbed one of his Gatorade Zeros, and I'm crushing some electrolytes.
I just assume you're pounding Red Bull like 24. Like you have an
Cold
IV
brew.
pick
Cold
line.
brew. Cold brew.
Cold brew, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big
Most
caffeine guy.
caffeinated man in America, Theo.
Lot of caffeine in the month of August because we're dropping shows every day over here at RotoWire, and we're
someone's
grinding.
at my door. I gotta answer this.
Go for it. So we see Denzel Boston. He's also moved up in ADP. The 1001 for Denzel Boston. There we go. Shout out to Nikki Banks in the chat. People are really clowning on Scott's beer here. And there we go. Sean G appreciates my my Gatorade Zero. So we're gonna get back to football here. We see Kyle Monangai go at the 911. Chuba Hubbard goes at the 1002. Chuba's just buried in ADP. We actually drafted a Jonathan Brooks Chuba Hubbard combination in an NFFC earlier today. I drafted one with Davis Maddock, and we weren't intending on doing it, but Chuba just kept falling and falling and falling, so we double tapped it. We're sort of wide open here, Scott, with where we could go. The team has suddenly become a little more balanced. I can't believe you put this one player in the queue, though, Scott. It's almost comical to me that you would put him in this early. So if we time out, we might end up with the worst pick in the history of the FFPC. They would definitely not... Go for it.
If you watched the live draft that Theo and I did on the Fantasy Points channel, you know exactly who this is. And yes, I did it only to troll Theo, but I had not thought about the possibility of if we accidentally timed out and took him again. Oh, man.
I added a player to the bottom of the queue, Scott, that I think we should take here. I think it's the upside pick here. I think it's a big upside pick.
I think it's Brett Whitefield's Exodia. Although I don't know what his
banged
injury
up.
status is.
He's banged up now. He's going to fall.
How bad is it? Okay.
I like where Brett's at.
I'm going to push the tight end unless you guarantee me he's there.
Well, let me look at the board.
And I don't want this quarterback. I want the Exodias.
Okay, I just think that it's a viable option here for us. Here at the 10-11 turn here.
Nope.
Oh my gosh, Scott, you're killing me on this one. Okay, I do like where Brett's head's at on that. I'm going to talk to him about that. I think number 3 is interesting too, Scott. A little bit of a throwback.
Not. The quarterback sucks, and maybe there's some. Actually, you know what? You're more right than I was giving you credit for. There's contingent upside there.
I think 3
and he fits this build.
3 and 1. I think 5. If you're ruling 5 out.
Well,
and I'll say
I think I'm looking at a different list than you. I would rather the running back than the second wide receiver, but I'd rather my tight end or the wide receiver 1.
I just refreshed the board.
Yeah, I have to refresh mine. I think we
looks
just got paused.
Looks like we're paused here, so we have a chance to sort of look at this. I think that.
Oh, I didn't see ADP. I'm surprised his ADP is this high.
Which number?
I mean, if you want to take him, you know what? I'm not going to fight you too much.
Which number is that, Scott?
You tell me. Who is the guy you're keeping up for? It's 4?
I mean, I think it's probably 5, 3.
5?
5, 3, or 1.
No, it's not 5.
It's definitely 5.
And it's 1. Then it's 1.
Okay.
You would take 5 over 4? You would take
I think that you're going to get
over either Vikings running back?
I think you're going to get I'm looking at this now.
You have to tell the chat who these players are after.
No, we'll tell them when we're OTC. I think I overlooked one guy that was in the queue. Let me add one more player in the queue for us to discuss. And then we'll kind of go from there.
Listen,
and we're still paused here.
Listen, you gave me George Kittle, so I have to give you, this is a give and take relationship,
Okay, so we see Rashad
White is who I assumed you would have over the other running back, and you're telling me no?
I think I did like Rashad White in the queue. We don't really need him. The tight end is super interesting. I think it's probably 3, and we see if the tight end comes back around, though, Scott. I mean, we've seen.
I want the Exodia tight end. This is in my draft guide. I said in FFPC leagues, this is the Exodia tight end. You wouldn't let me take Mark Andrews. We missed out on Dallas Goedert. I don't really.
Well, okay, so I'm okay with it.
I'm
okay with it. It's probably about a round early, but I've seen him go in this range. Let's see which.
If it's a round early, let's take. No. If it's a round early, let's take your wide receiver and just hope for the best.
Okay, so I think we go with Jordan Addison here.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take Jordan
Addison.
Addison.
What are the odds that my tight end falls to us in the next pick?
Pretty good. Not
over
guaranteed.
50%?
Probably 50-50.
All right. We'll take your wide receiver and just hope for the best.
Yeah, agreed. So that's where we're
at. We have two tight ends already.
Don't say the guy though.
We have two tight. I know. I'm not going. Come on. Who do you think
Not your first rodeo.
Listen, we have two tight ends already, and we have 3 running backs. So like, probably the flex is already filled. So I'm really fine with.
And we got sniped there. We got sniped.
50-50, he told me. He lies.
I thought it was 50-50.
He lies to me.
Listen, we're in good shape at tight end. We're in good shape at tight end here. We got Tyler Warren and George Kittle. Terrence Ferguson, I like the idea, but now we've kind of caught up at wide receiver a little bit. Jordan Addison.
You see how he lies to me?
Listen, the idea of Jordan Addison being some sort of an awful pick in round 10
He's a scrub.
Here.
Kyler Murray sucks. J.J. McCarthy sucks. Justin Jefferson's there. Hey, you want to guess how many fantasy points per game Jordan Addison averaged in the second half last year? It was under 7. Justin Jefferson, who's supposedly the best wide receiver in football, was in the single digits. And so you're all in on Jordan Addison, really? Really?
No.
Really?
I'm not all in on Jordan Addison.
You don't want the number 3 receiver in a Sean McVay offense with a ton of contingent upside because, like you said, Puka Nacua is a suspension risk, injury prone. Davante Adams is 33-year-old.
Okay, we're getting off the rails here, but I want to catch up at wide receiver a little bit, and I think Jordan Addison's been a spike week guy. It's been every single year except for last year with Jordan Addison where he's provided a lot of usable weeks, and we're getting him inside of round 10 here. There's no reason to tilt here on Terrence Ferguson. We don't need to tilt on Terrence Ferguson.
We took Kyler Murray's wide receiver, too, instead of the Exodia tight end on FFPC.
I thought George Kittle was the Exodia tight end.
And
I thought Dallas Goedert was the Exodia tight end.
So this is what I said. In FFPC, I want Harold Fannin, I want George Kittle, I want Sam Laporta, I want Dallas Goedert, and I want Terrence Ferguson. I want all of those. And instead you made me eat cotton candy for dinner when we should have had our vegetables, and we took
there's an easy pick for us here. There's two. I mean, I can't believe you've got this one guy in the queue who the whole world is fading. You've got a guy that's going to go in the 16th round.
Get this quarterback out of here.
No. Hold on. First of all, we don't have a quarterback in the queue yet.
Yes, we do.
Number 2 is the pick here, easily at the 11. No. He's going in 100%. This is the upside wins championships pick here, and this is the pick easily. We've capitulated on a couple of these picks. We've got to take this guy. This is turning into
I'd rather take Pat Freiermuth. We're really gonna take this.
This is turned into like other sites are just arguing here. We're gonna talk it out. My guy,
for
we're one pick away.
Yes, thank you.
One pick away here.
That's true.
Okay, so this is. I'm going to take my running back here. I'm going to cape up for him here. This is the swing for the fences upside pick, and we're going to take him.
So Theo doesn't like 30-year-old players, but he wants the guy who's missed 77% of career games since high school.
Okay, I will say that there's 2 guys in play for me here. It's Herbert or Lloyd. And I'm going to go Lloyd.
I have a quarterback ahead of Herbert who's going to be there in the next round.
Well, then let's sit on that one, and let's take my guy Lloyd, and we're taking Marshawn Lloyd. That's my pick. We capitulated on Puka Nacua, Brock Bowers. Tyler Warren was sort of my pick. Omarion Hampton was an us pick. Jadarian Price was kind of an us pick, but kind of a capitulation pick. Casey Concepcion, we set the main event high. We are flag planting Casey Concepcion.
I'm kind of proud of that, to be honest.
Me too. And I think I set the 350 NFFC online championship high for him as well. Like, I think this is where he's going to go in Vegas, and we're just a couple weeks early on this.
I think you're right.
And I think when you look at like some of the,
unless it's Denzel Boston, who you love too, is like more the training camp guy, but I think not the best fit for the coach.
Okay, so there's a Denzel Boston I think is really, really talented. But if one of them's going to hit in a major way this year, it's the one that can overcome the quarterback situation and more of like get the manufactured touches. They're going to force feed. Yeah. So I love Boston. I think Boston, there'll actually be a window where you can get them in Dynasty. The Terrence Ferguson one, Scott, we should have taken Terrence Ferguson. We should have pushed wide receiver around, but I really do like the Marshawn Lloyd value.
The guy who's missed 97% of career NFL games. We're going to take him.
Let us know in the chat who plays more games, Cam Scatterby or Marshawn Lloyd this year.
Scatterby. And then who scores fantasy points this year? Does the handcuff to Josh Jacobs really? Hey, I'll just like a peek behind the curtain is like I love Theo and we're good friends and like we're being combative to make this a little bit more entertaining. I did say on over the phone with you, you said like, okay, I'll let you do this, which we did, George Kittle, if you let me take my guy, Marshawn Lloyd. And I'm like, hey, you know what? That's a great call. That's kind of arbitrage Jonathan Brooks, but without the hype behind it. So I'm typically an anti-handcuff guy, but I really am not mad at Marshawn Lloyd. I would have preferred Aaron Jones, I think, but fine with Marshawn Lloyd in round 11.
And I think, to be clear, I'm very open-minded to taking Josh Jacobs in round 4 and also Marshawn Lloyd in this round. I think there's value to be had in this backfield. Jacobs has a lot of tread on the tire. The vibes have been really good with Marshawn Lloyd. And I think it's like a secondary. The franchise sort of stuck with Christian Watson. They extended him. I think there's going to be a period of time where Marshawn Lloyd has some viable weeks this year. And any week that Josh Jacobs misses, Marshawn Lloyd's a smash. And I think you also got the potential for a suspension. Adam Schefter talked about it. So a little bit of contingent upside there as well. There's we don't have a quarterback, but I think we feel perfectly fine about that. Scott, we're also going to probably be a 2-quarterback build. We only have 2 tight ends. We see Romeo Doubs go off the board. Brett Whitefield's also really high on him. I was talking with Brett on the phone about that one. We're starting to see a good amount of buzz with Romeo Doubs. Mekhi Lemon falling. Xavier Worthy, where are you at on him, Scott? You're a noted Xavier Worthy hater in previous years. When you get to round 11, are you open-minded to it this year? Just as sort of a post-hype thing? And, I mean, we argued about this one. This was one where Scott was openly celebrating my Xavier Worthy backing last year during the injury in the opener against the Chargers. It was sort of comical, not at the time, but it was comical a little bit in retrospect. Are you more open-minded to him this year?
I don't know. This is one of the weird, like, logical inconsistencies in my rankings where I'm really low on Rashid Rice. I'm really low on Xavier Worthy. I don't even have Tyquan Thornton ranked, although I like Tyquan. I'm low on Travis Kelce. Cyrus Allen, I don't know, last round pick. And so I'm kind of too low on it. So like the math doesn't math for a Patrick Mahomes receiver. But no, he's not a target. I'm sure there's wide receivers I like more. Sean G is asking, did Scott make another Exodia list that I missed? Yeah, scroll down to the bottom of my draft guide. There's a facts section for FFPC leagues. It's like, here's what I do at quarterback. Here's what I do at running back. Dude, some of our subs have built some insane teams. Because, especially in the 350, I think main event's a little bit tougher, but I do need to update that because it's a little out of date for the ADP. Hey, is Abib in this league, by the way? Was he DMing us earlier that he's in this?
No, Abib is not in this one. I think we're splitting a team with Abib at some point. I might split a second team with Abib. Scott and I have done really well in main event. I think last year we had like 3 teams out of 4 that finished in the money, and I think 2 of them won it. I think we might have had 3 teams in the playoff round, Scott. We haven't had a team we had one team with Abib where the 3 of us, we were in like the top 15 for a while. And then it died on the vine when we got to the 3-week sprint. But we had also a couple teams last year, Scott, which were incredibly unfortunate with injuries. We drafted Tucker Kraft in so many 8th rounds last year, and it looked like that was like the league winner. I mean, that really, really hurt. Throwing a couple more guys here in the queue. And then we had Cam Scatterby, obviously. And I'll give Scott credit on that one. But Tucker Kraft, I think Scott will give me a little credit on that one.
Bad. but still did really well. And that's a huge testament to you. Like, you're a phenomenal waiver wire guru. Like, your high stakes waiver wire column is the best in the space, bar none. And it's also insane how many leagues you have, and you're still like as on top of waivers as you are. I don't know how you do it. Maybe it's the cold brew.
It's the cold brew, and also I spent hours and hours and hours on waivers. Wednesdays are always a weird day for me where I'm doing fantasy content, but I'm also doing waivers. And there's also like these leagues have also pushed waivers up to 11 p.m. So I used to like collapse at 10 p.m. Eastern, and now it's like an extra hour where I'm gonna have to do it. So yeah, it's a grind, but yeah, I've hit really well on the waivers, and appreciate you saying that. I can't wait to clip that and have Scott Barrett of Fantasy Points says. But
it's true.
The way we're gonna have the high stakes waiver wire column right here at RotoWire. I did it for Scott last year. Did it at Player Profiler before that. People loved it, and we've had a bunch of hits over the years. We're seeing a quarterback run here, Scott, with Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert go back to back. Herbert would have been a really good pick for us. I think in retrospect, will we hate the fact that Herbert?
Listen,
we could have gone.
No,
okay.
No.
I'm open minded to. I'm open minded to
my quarterback. We don't want Justin Herbert.
I am okay with your quarterback.
We want my quarterback.
I also want to put in my quarterback. I have two quarterbacks that I like.
Oh, great. Can't wait to hear who this guy is.
Okay, I think you're gonna. I know you like this one because I've talked to you about both of these guys. I put them both in the queue. Both those guys are great picks.
He doesn't run.
We can take
Brandon Aubrey off the board. The Exodia kicker.
Kicker. The Josh Allen of kickers. We're gonna take your quarterback if he's here, and then we're gonna push quarterback
people
around.
But know people hey Theo.
There he goes. Okay, so we're gonna have to. We can lean into it, but I think we need to. This might even be a 3 quarterback build, Scott. This is definitely a 2 quarterback build. We've gotten steamrolled a little bit here. Your guy at the top of the queue, you do not need to take in this round. This is would be setting the high in the main event for ADP by like you'd be setting the high by like 3 rounds. I think my guy at number 2 gives us a lot of stability. Yeah, he does.
So I don't think we go quarterback here. I think we use this in our favor and we just push it. And because no one else is desperate to take their QB2. So
I don't. I disagree with that. Sometimes in these leagues they run and they run and they run and they run.
So in my draft guide, the Exodia quarterback on FFPC is Jackson Dart. And that's who I want.
He's gone. Okay, right. Scott, this is sort of a signal here.
The backup plan is who the home league Exodia is.
Okay, but Scott, we're OT. So we'll get to the. I like the plan in these home leagues, but the problem is in this league, this trend where all these teams are getting a second quarterback, and we don't want to get left holding the bag. Of the guys in the queue here, who's the one you want to get? I will say.
It's the guy we reach on, and you're the world's biggest ADP slave. It doesn't matter. Look at my
Scott,
rankings.
He's going to be. It doesn't matter because he's going to be there in 2 rounds.
I don't care. You say that to me.
We can draft him in 2 rounds.
You lie to me.
I think it's number 1 here.
So then we don't take a quarterback. Then we don't take a quarterback.
It's 1 or 3 here.
Then it's 3. Okay, but I'm in protest.
Okay, we're taking 3 here.
I'm happy with this.
I'm going to send you in the private message because I don't want to tip our hand here. This is
freaking Theo Gremminger, world's biggest ADP slave.
Not at all.
When you have Scott Barrett on your show, just draft off of his rankings. All your guests that you have, just copy the Scott Barrett rankings. So it's like they're telling you that my rankings are the only ones that matter. Their rankings are worthless.
That is absolutely untrue. And I will say that
I have the screenshots. You want to see? Should I open?
Okay, I would love to see the screenshots, but I would like to say that there's one thing to be said of taking your guy, and there's another thing to be said that at a one-off position, you take your guy 4 rounds early at a one-off position.
I have him ranked above Bo Nix. I have him ranked above Patrick Mahomes.
So let's talk about that one with Bo Nix, because Bo Nix has an awesome group of receivers, and they get him Jalen Waddle. Pat Bryant's the new hotness. Cortland Sutton looked good the other day, and Bo Nix was quarterback 11 last year in points per game, quarterback 8 the year before. This is
that. I don't mind. So here's the argument for
I'm
Bo
sending
Nix.
you a private one. We're gonna go. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is going to be. It's going to be. This is the plan.
Hey, that worked out exceptionally well for us.
This is going to be very good here, but we're going to go with. I'm going to say the guy's names because I think we are getting sniped here, or this guy. Are you good with this plan?
Okay.
So, but we don't need to say it. Okay, so you can keep the bit on here if you want.
Okay.
You can keep the bit, but this is actually not a bad run out here. And we will scroll back up the board.
I need to take some deep breaths.
We're good here. We're good here. We're good here. We're good here.
I like some of these wide receivers on the board.
I like 4. But I don't think he's a make it or break it play for us.
No.
I don't think he's a make it or break it guy. Right. I mean, I think he's sort of superfluous to the Addison pick. Trey Harris goes there.
What about Oronde Gadsden? Like, I think what do I always say? The bull case matters more than the most likely outcome, which matters exponentially more than the bear case. There's a really compelling bull case. Even if it's like a 20 percentile outcome, if that hits, he breaks FFPC leagues.
I don't hate it, but he's really, really falling. And I think that the fact that he played, they bench Trey Harris.
Is he worth more to us than a QB3, QB2?
I think a QB2 here makes sense. I like where you're at with player number 6 in the queue. I think he's there next go around.
So I don't want a QB here. I gave you your QB. You had your way, because there's the Exodia quarterback, and then there's another quarterback who is Exodia runner.
We are not taking. We can't take Gadsden here. We see.
Why not? Why not?
Because this is the wide receiver. You like this player, Scott. If you want to pass on quarterback, and I do think there'll be a quarterback next pick, then I think it's player number 4 in our queue that I think we both like, and I think he's a good value here, and we are completely caught up at the position that we're worst at. So I think we take Rashid Shaheed right here.
I think you and Chat were too overly concerned about punting wide receiver 2. I think you could do that when you have 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends.
Okay. And then people love when I say this too. This is a free look player. And Scott, when Rashid Shaheed,
it's a 1 week. I don't care about 1 week. I care about weeks 16, 17.
Look, this is a good pick here. And Scott, you're a Rashid Shaheed guy. Like, what are we doing? Sure. You love Rashid Shaheed. You've been a Rashid. You actually, I remember when we did a trade special. We did a trade special, me, you, and Brett Whitefield last year at Fantasy Points. And when it was the trade deadline, we got on there and we were just losing our mind over Rashid Shaheed and how good this could be and the run out. And then we actually got a poor run out where he made a big impact on special teams. JSN was just so dominant in his usage. But I think rational coaching all offseason, he's clearly looks like the number 2 target in Seattle. They have a whole offseason to kind of prepare to use him. They traded a 3rd-round pick for him. Then they re-signed him as a free agent. We know in New Orleans he had usable fantasy weeks, and there's a chance Shaheed kind of runs pure. And we also get, again, the free look play. So I'm okay with this one. I think that Shaheed's
I really
nice
like
one.
that you just totally called me on my bullshit. That's true. I have been Rashid Shaheed's biggest fan since he went UDFA and then scored that first long touchdown, I think like week 6 for the Saints.
Weber State.
And has there been a bigger maybe Denzel Boston, but like after Denzel Boston, biggest training camp hype darling, Rashid Shaheed has been the star of Seattle training camp. And like the coach comes out, he's like, hey, he joined us mid-season. Offense is complicated. We took it easy on him. But this year, we have plays designed for him. We have, and I mean like JSN just had the best yards per team pass attempt of any wide receiver since Lance freaking Allworth in like the 1950s. And so, that's an offense that probably can support more than one pass catcher.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on this one. We see tight end here gets a little choppy. I think there's some interesting tight ends late. We saw the big quarterback run in round 12. We ultimately went with Bo Nix. And pick your brain on this one, Scott, because I know Ryan Heath is really big on Bo Nix. I sort of have been caping up for Bo Nix. I recorded with Cody Carpentier the other day. I've made a big bull case for Bo Nix, but Bo Nix, quarterback 8 in points per game as a rookie, quarterback 11 last year. We know he's got rushing upside. They go out and get Jalen Waddle. Pat Bryant is just sort of the talk of training camp. Cortland Sutton's still there. Troy Franklin is the wide receiver 4. He had 6 touchdowns, 700 and something yards last year. Looked pretty good. He's entering year 3. Why are you like not kind of excited about Bo Nix? I feel like he's being drafted at his floor. We get him.
Yeah. So he's being drafted at his floor. The thing is, in 1 QB leagues, all that matters is upside. All that matters is league winning upside. Shout out to Upside Wins Championships, my self-proclaimed magnum opus. In any given season, the quarterback position just really doesn't matter at all. And so and you have the safety net of the waiver wire to fall back on, as well as the ceiling, because we've seen that, like, Matthew Stafford was a UDFA. We picked him up week 4 in one of our leagues last year. And so, yes, very safe, high floor, and maybe that pairs well with the quarterback we'll take next. But it's just, does he have top 3 upside? Does he have top 5 upside? Not really. And that's what really matters to me. My Exodia quarterback has hit every single year. That's people go apeshit for. Hey, Drake May finished 2nd in fantasy points per game last year. If Sam Monson, my old coworker, didn't throw away his vote, so many subs would have won tens of thousands of dollars with that MVP bet. And I lean into upside. Bo Nix, very safe. If our quarterback falls to us, I'm not going to be mad at it. Sean Payton's track record is phenomenal at the quarterback position. Arguably better than anyone. Where like Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston, absolute scrub backups put up like 20 plus fantasy points per game with Sean Payton. And so like the last 2 years, he's finished QB7, QB9 by fantasy points per game while sucking ass. He ranks bottom 6 in completion percentage over expectation, catchable throw rate. It's like, hey, if he could just be average, maybe he could finish QB6, QB5. But he's coming off of an injury, so I question the rushing upside. He's just fine. He doesn't get me excited like the next quarterback would.
Well, the next quarterback, I think we have a couple guys in consideration to talk about here.
No, we don't. We have one. We have one guy in consideration.
Okay, he's in consideration. I think there's another 2 we'll talk about. I think we could walk away, and I think this is also there's a potential. We got to talk about a couple wide receivers here. We got to talk about one running back who's in the queue, and I think you can look at the bottom and sort of figure out why that.
No.
How are we off of that guy?
3 starting running backs, and I let you take.
Okay, I'm going to give you a bone on this next pick, and then let's split the difference here. You're picking round 14. I'm picking round 15. Deal?
No.
Why?
That's one good pick and one bad pick.
Oh my God, the Rashid Shaheed pick was, and first of all, I would like to say the guy that you wanted to take is still on the board, so you get Bo Nix with.
Listen, Nicky Banks is on my side. Give Scott a bone. Okay. I've been getting hosed. We could have won $1 million. We are
very
me with Marshawn Lloyd and Bo Nix and Jordan Addison.
We are very live with this team. Okay, you got Kenyon Sadiq, Greg Dulcich go off the board.
I like Dulcich.
We are one pick away. That. I know you like Dulcich here. I kind of I like the idea
Is Pat
that
Freiermuth still on the board. Did he go off the board 10 rounds ago?
I emailed the FFPC and I had them remove him from a queue option, sort of like a troubled gambler thing where they were able to take it off because I don't want troubled Pat Freiermuth bulls to sort of show up here.
Troubled gambler.
Shout out to my guy here calling out the Jacob Gibbs Exodia tight end, who I convinced Ryan Heath to. Ryan Heath is getting Gibbs pilled on him. I'm sure he's going to be in Ryan Heath's next
Ryan
article
Heath,
update.
really sharp guy. Jacob
Ryan's
Gibbs,
great.
really sharp guy.
Ryan's great.
Those
I had
two of the best young analysts in the game by far.
Jacob Gibbs has been on this show 3 times. 3 times. That's my guy. And I went on his show to do the hot takes show. I've had him. He's completely loose. Okay, so we're OTC.
We did our birthday show together. We're both July 30th.
Just a weird commonality in the fantasy space. You're OTC here. Okay, Scott, take your guy. He'll be here in round 16, but we can take him here, and I'm going to take round 15.
Are we
Deal?
going to set the record? It brings me so much joy to set these ADP records because, hey, guess what?
Isn't 2 also an Exodia quarterback that actually goes high?
Yeah, but I have him ranked below the other one. So we could take both. You said in private chat 3 quarterbacks. Well, I mean, that's fine, but I don't want to lose out on the Exodia.
So you're not going to.
Hey Theo, when was the last time the Exodia?
You're not going to lose. You're not going to lose out. You're not going to lose out on him because
you lie to me. You say he falls and he don't fall.
I'm not. Scott, number 2 goes before.
Let's set the record. Let's put it. Let's let our nuts hang.
You're going to set the record
and show everyone who's boss that we know ball.
Take your guy ahead of the quarterback that we have correlation with. Let's take your guy. Okay, we'll take him right here.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will take my guy next.
These guys think they're so sharp because I'm in 100 leagues. I have $500,000. Okay, if you guys are so sharp and I'm so dumb, then how come I've won the championship in like 80% of my career FFPC leagues? Like that should be statistically impossible.
If you have an 80% championship hit rate in FFPC main event leagues, then you should become a professional FFPC manager. That's a great hit rate. I don't have time.
I only do drafts with co-managers.
Okay, so I would like to add for the podcast listening audience, this has gone off the rails a little bit. Not really. Scott gets his guy Malik Willis, loves Malik Willis. Scott, Pistol Pete in the chat is asking if you are messing with everybody with your Pat Freiermuth love because people think it's hilarious.
So that's a joke. So like I thought he was like a great last round pick in this format, but hey, preseason usage actually kind of proved me wrong. Where it's like, hey, Darnell Washington ran more routes than Pat Freiermuth with the first team offense. If you have to watch the fantasy points episode where we accidentally took him, and so it became like a running bit. But Malik Willis is like dead serious. Like this is. Like, I would take him over Bo Nix. I would take him over Patrick Mahomes. I would take him over Jared Goff, maybe over Brock Purdy, who I love, maybe even over Justin Herbert, who I love. And I have the only guy I have bets on.
It's not a good pick here because he could have gotten him before, and there's
I don't care.
Obvious correlation.
We had the same debate with Cam Scatterbu last year where it's like, he's mispriced by 3 rounds. Let's take him a round early. And you're like, well, there's a 60% chance he falls to us. And then they never do. It's just
okay. Hey, so that's why
Malik Willis finishes QB 5, and we drafted him QB 16. That's insane value. That's extreme value. Let's not be ADP slaves.
No, but this is why we're not ADP slaves because we could have taken Matthew Stafford right there. And
I don't care about Matthew Stafford. He's last year's Baker Mayfield.
Okay, but this is it. It's correlation and it's a free look. And it's a free look. Correlation and a free look.
I don't.
And we pass up on him for Malik Willis.
The least important week. And then
it all adds up.
He had the highest touchdown rate ever, which is like the most guaranteed to regress to the mean stat of all time.
Well, I feel the need. I am making the next pick here. And I feel the need to sort of like hedge the bet here a little bit. So, gosh, this is a tough one.
Who does Theo have better chemistry with than Scott Barrett, huh? Wouldn't it be great if there was a show where Scott Barrett and Theo Gremminger met and talked twice a week?
A big announcement. School of Scott is moving to RotoWire this year. Make the announcement, Scott. Let everybody know. Okay, so upside over correlation. Yeah, I get it, Scott. I get it. Okay, we're 2 picks away here. And I'm debating this one out.
Well, you let me have my way. Oh,
yeah, I mean, Dave Waters here.
All right, so there's 5 guys in the queue, 4 of which are Scott Barrett guys, one of which is a Theo guy. Which way is he going to go?
Well, no, we talked about this one. We have 2 quarterbaks here. So Matthew Stafford would have been a really good pick.
Okay, do whatever you want, but I get to scold you if it's not what I.
No, I mean for me, there's a couple of clear picks in this queue. It's 5, it's 2, or it's 1, and I think that we are in a situation where I think we're actually a 3 quarterback build because we're super late. We waited late, and I think we take the 3rd one here. And I think we hope that 2 or 3 come back around to us in round 16. So I
like that. Let's do that. But I want chat to recognize that this is Theo showing a lack of confidence in the Exodia quarterback, which never missed.
No, and I will say...
And I take it personally.
The idea that 3 quarterbacks is absurd. A lot of the win rates last year, you can look at Fantasy Mojo on win rates for 3 quarterback builds.
Including our own teams, by the way.
Three quarterback builds are absolutely in play. You can let one go in week 2 or 3. We can get a feel for the offenses. And again, we make a bet in round 12. The three quarterback build used to be like, let's laugh at it. But there's a couple guys in this main event that have won $1 million plus in total earnings. A lot of guys with over $500,000 in total earnings that have done the three quarterback build. I don't love the three quarterback build, but when we start out in round 12, the idea that I can't roster three quarterbacks for a couple weeks and sort of see which way it goes, it's not the most ideal strategy.
I mean,
and we get a little.
I think this is like actually the perfect build for a three quarterback because we were the last team to take our QB1. We have 3 stud running backs. We went quantity over quality at wide receiver, and we have 2 tight ends who are going to start for us. So our flex is filled. I think it makes sense to take 3 quarterbacks. Hope one. I mean, play schedules early on. Drop the worst one in week 3, and hope one of those guys has top 5 upside. I mean, we know which one it is, but hope one of those guys has top 5 upside.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're going to have to piecemeal it a little bit together. I think ultimately Bo Nix is going to be our quarterback, but if Scott's right,
No.
I do think Malik Willis has a chance to lead the NFL in rushing yards at the quarterback position, even if it's a small chance. Kyler Murray, obviously, in a Kevin O'Connell offense. I know Ryan Heath's very high on him. This team got a little weird, but if we look at the team structurally, we have 3 running backs early. We take Marshawn Lloyd. Wide receiver-wise, Puka Nacua at 4. And then we go Casey Concepcion, Michael Wilson,
but imagine
Stephon
if it had
Diggs.
Terrence Ferguson on it.
Can we imagine the theoretical upside of Terrence Ferguson there? We ended up going Addison over Ferguson. I guess that's one we could sort of get back. I think really ultimately the move was we should have probably taken Justin Herbert.
Rondé Gadsden off the board.
If you take Justin Herbert in round 11, you don't end up in this 3 quarterback Frankenstein build. But again, we have some juice here with this team. I am not against this team, and I will say this team, it's not perfect, but you end up with potentially the wide receiver 1, the tight end 1 overall, and then I think Omarion Hampton could end up falling in the end zone 15 times this year if that offense sort of runs pure. Patrick Klein asking if we're going to say which teams we like. Probably not. This is getting to be an hour and 35 minutes in. A couple of teams I'll talk about. I guess we could sort of look at the board, Scott, and pick one team we like. But I am not. This team's definitely not dead. I'll say a swing pick was Marshawn Lloyd, though, because I do think he has exceptional upside.
This is better than your Ryan Heath team. This is better than your Jacob Gibbs team.
Well, no. I don't know about that. My Ryan Heath team, I think, was pretty good, except for Ryan Heath made the ultimate cardinal sin, where the company where they talk about upside wins championships and understanding tight end premium formats, and Ryan Heath makes me. And Ryan and I think we ran pure on a number of picks. Like the run out was really good, but there was the one pick that's haunted me for days is Ryan wanted to go Derrick Henry over Trey McBride. It was so on brand for Ryan because he wants to show everybody that he loves Derrick Henry again, and he faded him before. We love you, Ryan Heath. That team could still do well. We got Lamar Jackson so late in that team, Scott, which was really, we haven't been pushing Lamar Jackson up. I know Ryan's really high on him, but yeah. Scott, Nikki Banks wants you to call out the team you like the least from this build. Care to take a stab at the team you like the least?
Yeah, it's probably the team that overdrafted Jordan Addison, wasted a pick on Marshawn.
Oh my god,
Lloyd
this is you think this is the worst pick of the team on the board? Tyler Warren in round 3, Omarion Hampton, Puka Nacua. This team has a lot of juice.
I have to look at the board. I kind of haven't paid attention to anyone else in this format. Are there any big hitters? I want to piss off.
Well, yeah,
Sousa or
they're not in this one. Actually, fantasy.
Abib?
Oh, no.
Abib in here?
No, Nelson is. Nelson's
goat?
at the 1. Nelson's at the 1.
Oh, wait, he's Fantasy Sopranos?
Fantasy Sopranos is Dave Hubbard, Steve, and Nelson. That's 3 really good drafters.
Well, he took a ton of my guys, so I'd love to talk shit on the GOAT, but
I'm sure he'd love to come on a Fantasy Points podcast. He's been on my shows a bunch of times. And I'm splitting
I don't handle scheduling, so
I split a team with Nelson in the NFFC New York drafts. We're drafting a team in the New York Super. If you're going to be in the live drafts in New York City, look forward to seeing you. I'll see Steve there.
I have nothing but respect for, like, these are the best fantasy players in the world, are these guys who have a ton of money on the line draft. 100 teams and like have the track record to back it up. Nelson Sousa is one of them. Abib Agbatoba won back-to-back. Like that's statistically impossible. So yeah, shout out to all those guys.
Omar Cooper goes in round 16. Some bad vibes with Omar Cooper right now. Interesting pick there. I don't know the whole Isaiah Williams thing. But I just think Omar, the Cooper is a guy you're probably going to see on the waiver wire after week 1.
I told you that 2 months ago.
What are we talking about? I'm taking Omar Cooper now. I don't have any Omar Cooper exposure. You're like talking me off of Omar Cooper. I will say I'll put one team in the queue that I think has a really good early season defensive schedule. If you look at sort of the schedule,
we're talking about drafting defenses now.
Why not?
You know who the top tight end is right now by ADP?
Why don't you tell us, Scott?
It's our good friend Pat Freiermuth.
Oh my God, we're still talking about it. We got like a. But I will say we need to. There's one thing we need to do in this format is we need to take number 3 just in case that I put in the queue. And you know I'm right. I think it's in the 17th round.
So I mean I think there's a good chance we drop him, but yeah, that's fine. That's fine by me.
Number 1 is a given here in round 16. I wanted him last round. Let's just take him, and then I think we take number 3. Unless do you want to just
I'll tell you why philosophically that doesn't make sense, but hold on. You removed a bunch of my guys from the queue.
I didn't know
illegal.
Well, hold on a second. Which guy do you have in the queue? Because maybe it just didn't update.
The 2 wide receivers. Refresh.
Well, I think we're good there. We don't need to push that one.
Why? We only have one good one.
Okay, so I think
our weakest position.
He's in play. Let's get, because I number 1 we really need to get with this build. I know you're going to say we don't,
well,
but we kind of do.
I'll tell you what, I have to pee really bad, so I'm going to win by default. How about that?
So the teams at 1 and 2 and 3, please make your picks super quick so I can jam in 2 picks.
Pat Freiermuth off the board.
Thank you for falling on that grenade for us guys. We really appreciate that. I see saving Scott Barrett there. Go do your thing, Scott. I won't double tap. I won't double tap. There you go. All right, so there we go. Pat Freiermuth, the Exodia tight end. You don't need to subscribe to the article because now you know the Exodia tight end was Pat Freiermuth. That's the tight end. No, but Scott last draft really wanted him, and we sort of got in a big argument about it. Isaiah Pacheco goes off the board. Damon Claiborne goes off the board. He was in the queue. I like him, especially in this range. Another draft that Scott and I did, we drafted the double tap of Jordan Mason and Damon Claiborne, and we are 1 pick away. Sort of a clear value for me that we should take for this build. Hopefully we don't get sniped. And there's one other player if we do get sniped. There's 2 guys that I think make sense. Big shout out to everybody watching the stream and listening to my podcast over here. If you want access to my rankings, I've just been doing a huge rankings update. And there we go. We get sniped. Kamani Vidal goes off the board. We get sniped here in round 16. That's a bad run out for us. I think that the move here is to ensure that we get the tight end and we get those early points from San Francisco. And we also have a free look here. So I think we're going to lock in a little earlier than I'd like on Jake Tonjes. And we're going to take Jake Tonjes here in the late 16th round. If you don't have Kittle, I think you can wait on Tonjes, but I've been sniped on him before on a Kittle build, and it's not ideal. So our build right now, 4 running backs.
I really like these wide receivers, Theo.
I like them too, but I think that the Kamani Vidal pick was sort of signal here. If you want to take the wide receiver...
they did us a favor. Philosophically, I'm opposed to handcuff running backs. This is a format, the $1 million grand prize, where you want to lean into upside. Drafting a handcuff is theoretically lowering your upside,
not when you're this fragile. Not when you're this fragile. When you're fragile. We're not fragile per se, but you're fragile total numbers wise, and I think you're also not handcuffing a bad offense.
If our round 2 picks tears an ACL, we're screwed. And Keaton Mitchell's probably going to get some run. So I don't know.
So what? He'd still be there with the Mike McDaniel offense. I think Kamani Vidal, I've taken Kamani Vidal a bunch, and I've gotten sniped on him twice. And it hurts when you get sniped. On Omari and Hampton team, we probably should have considered taking him there over the Murray one. But whatever, we were a 3-quarterback build. It's okay. We got Tonjes. I like where you're at on the one, and then Kittle's the definition of fragile. Yes, we know. George Kittle is injury prone. George Kittle could play 14.
Is he? Really?
George Kittle could play 14 games for this team, and I think we'll take that run out.
It's all that damned haunted 5G electrical substation. If they dismantle that, George Kittle's breaking leagues this year.
Okay, I think that we have 4 more picks. Let me pull up one thing. I'm just looking at our queue. I'll throw one in the queue that you totally missed out on that I'm surprised.
Ooh.
And how do you not like him here?
Ooh. Let's see who this dog shit player is.
I mean,
really
one of your favorite
zero upside. No.
You don't think that he has more upside than one?
No. Dude, one could catch 100 balls this year.
Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay with one.
Guess how many catches he had his final season of college. Just guess.
Are you kidding me? I put everybody in the world onto him in college. I talked up his profile to everyone, including your guy Brett Whitefield.
No one heard it because it was that player profile.
No. This was Brett Whitefield and I. Okay, now hold on. Dynasty Life was an institution podcast that came over with me from Player Profile to Fantasy Points, and now is part of the RotoWire podcast network. Jawan Jennings goes. We're 1 pick away. I'm okay with getting this player. But I don't think this player is like, okay, and this is definitely they're putting you onto the Ascot Rashad Bateman here, Scott.
Hey, yo, your chat is smarter than I expected. If they're
we have the sharpest live YouTube audience in fantasy. A lot of people followed me over here. A lot of people watching Fantasy Points and RotoWire. We see a lot of crossover. You recognize a lot of these names here.
Wow, that's like if Paris Hilton's podcast had a bunch of Mensa members listening to it.
What? Yeah, I'm Paris Hilton. I'm Paris Hilton now. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we are OTC here, and I actually made a comment. I wanted to take him on a team with Davis Maddock, and I'm glad you're more open-minded to him. I think it's worth a look for the first couple of weeks. It might be a guy that goes right back to the waiver wire, but here we are in round 17. I'm willing to take a shot on Malik Washington here.
Yeah, let's take him.
Okay, so let's take Malik Washington. 110 receptions.
I mean, any of the Miami wide receivers are a good pick here. Hey, I got a question for you. Is this live?
Yeah, we don't pre-record our FFPC main events.
This means you can't edit anything, right?
No, I will not edit, but so please don't insult other guests who have come on my show.
No, of course. I would never.
Okay, good. Thank you.
But can I tell you what my therapist told me?
People hate your pick of Malik Washington here.
That's fine.
Look at Malik Washington is -5 yards, ADOT, LOL. Nikki Banks clowning. Okay, go for it, Scott.
It's a round 17 pick.
Upside
is all that matters. We don't need to talk about the downside. Yeah, let me tell you what my therapist told me. So, as you know, Theo, I've been in a really bad place since you left. You know, just how much I miss you. And so, what my therapist told me was, if you love something, set it free. If it was meant to be, it comes back to you. And you know who also told me that? My accountant, when he looked at your company's debt to EBITDA.
Well, hold on a second. That's that we are gonna
pull up RotoWire.
No. We are not.
Their market cap versus debt.
Scott is just making up stories here. This guy's hilarious. Jalen Tolbert. People laughed at your Malik Washington pick there.
And right after that, Jalen Tolbert goes. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Malik Washington had 110 catches his final season of college. 1,426 yards, the best ever missed tackles force per reception seasons in PFF college history. 1 is CeeDee Lamb, 2 is Malik Washington, 3 is Malik Washington. And so it's just, PPR cheat code upside that's not priced in. Like, listen, I'm a believer in Malik Willis, so I'm more optimistic on Miami than is given credit for. Most of that is the rushing. But listen, talk to any projections guy worth his salt. Chris Wecht is the best in the business. Fantasy Points had the best DFS projections in the industry last year by correlation to actual results.
How easy is DFS, by the way, Scott? I mogged you with so many of my DFS lineups last year. I literally, I just decided, Scott started telling me how DFS, how hard it is and how it's haunts his days end of the week. And I ran pure for like 6 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, you
I was
really
on a crazy
it.
run, crazy DFS run.
You outplayed me for sure. And yeah, it's just if you project out targets, you could have Devon Achane ranking, like leading the position in targets, and you could have Greg Dulcich being like fringe top 12, and you could have, it's still like there's a real pathway to Malik Washington having 125 targets.
I just think it's worth taking a look, and you could end up with a scenario where you've seen these sort of guys in a PPR scam. Could we end up with Malik Washington with back-to-back 6-catch games to start out the year, and then people sort of scramble at him off the waiver wire? And this guy in the chat saying, while Caleb Douglas is out there catching balls with one hand 30 yards downfield.
That was an insane catch.
Okay, and listen, Caleb Douglas is way ahead of Malik Washington in my rankings, but Caleb Douglas is also going in like the 12th through 14th round. We're not playing in Narnia over here where you get Caleb Douglas off your waiver wire.
Turn, he went.
Yeah, 13,
and hey,
14.
That's just one play that everyone overreacts to. Dude, every freaking year is like these guys who do well in preseason against 5th string Morgan Stanley interns skyrocket up, and it's like negatively correlated with success. Last year, you were like, oh, Travion Henderson, we got to take him in round 3. Rookie season, Kyle Pitts jumped 3 rounds in ADP. Those guys sucked. Marquez Callaway, tell me you were in the FFPC streets for the Marquez Callaway days.
No, but I was in an NFFC live draft in New York City where somebody fired off Marcus Callaway in the 6th round. And I would like to add for the record, I had a Travion Henderson FFPC main event team last year, Scott, that won the regular season and won the postseason tournament. That team was incredible because I had Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I had JSN. I took him at 24 overall, and I took him ahead of the Lad McConkey manager who was drafting right behind me in Vegas. I draft JSN, and the manager just like chuckles to himself and takes Lad McConkey like no time off the clock, like speed, like look what I did to this content creator who took JSN ahead of me. Look at this idiot. And that team ran pure. So
that was one of the first lessons I ever learned in fantasy is like the contrarian drafter has the last laugh. It was I don't know what year this was, but Tiki Barber went in like round 6, and this guy it was a live draft, got my first ever fantasy league, my stepdad's league, got eviscerated. It's like, oh, he can't hold on to the football. He doesn't score touchdowns. And then lo and behold, Tiki Barber was the most valuable player in fantasy that year. That guy won the league. And so that's like a legit thing that happens. You can't be, hubris will be your downfall. Hey, Nitty Degen actually brings up a good name I wasn't thinking of that I kind of like.
Look, let's just map this out because we have 3 picks left, and one of them needs to be a kicker. One of them needs to be a defense.
That's okay. Well, we won't draft a kicker.
We have to draft a kicker. This is not Narnia leagues. You have to do it. So
oh, that's right.
Yeah, this isn't. Shout out to some of my favorite content creators who love to write. Don't take the kicker and don't take the defense. Well, maybe in Narnia, in the leagues over in Narnia and Wakanda.
Imagine
and stuff.
like home league drafters drafting against like Sharon from accounting with the Exodia picks. Like it's just impossible to lose.
Okay, so there we go. Okay, I will say that that this is a near Exodia level kicker for me because of the deep field goals.
We got to take him then. Hell yeah.
Ryan Paganetti also talked him up.
Baby. I know exactly who this is.
You know who this is.
5'6"?
No. Look at our queue. Number 3. You like this guy. This is a guy with a leg.
Oh yeah. Love this.
So if he's there, we're taking him. If not, I do want to grab number 1. And I know you don't like it, but
I like that. I like 1. I think 1's a great pick.
Is 1 the same guy are you reading the same board I am? Because I don't want you to like freak out here.
Is he a handcuff to one of our players?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a great pick. I think I'm gonna take off 2. I'm gonna leave you with Exodia kicker and this.
Well, no, don't take off 2 because if we miss out on 1, then I think 2's in play, and he might be there.
You're right. You're right, Theo.
So just leave him in there. But I think the order would be.
I think this is a great list. I'm happy with any of those guys.
Okay, and then I'm also going to throw out Exodia runner-up kicker. And then I'm going to throw a free look kicker up there too. We keep getting sniped right before, and it's funny. I get these like late snipes that they hurt way more because you have fewer guys you want to draft when you get this late into the.
By the way, I was wrong. I thought this kicker was really short. He's not. He's shaped like a lollipop. That's who it is. And he's off the board.
Okay, and he's off the board.
Sniping on the Exodia kicker.
We are going to take our cuff running back here.
I don't like handcuffs, but I think this is a good one.
Round 18 is fine.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like the nightmare scenario. We'll see how it goes. And
because at least one of these guys is egregiously mispriced. Like, it doesn't make sense for FFPC drafters to be as low on price as they are and not also high on Holani.
So the team, we draft our 5th running back, and we're potentially done at running back here. We'll see how this sort of runs out here. A 3 quarterback build. This is the first time we've drafted a 3. Actually, I think we did take a 3 quarterback build last year on one of those teams with Abib. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Scott. And then I think we just cut a quarterback early. Rich, the 3 of Rich and me and you also had a 3 quarterback build that did really well last year. Yep. We ended up cutting one, but I think we got a quarterback. We got Dart off the waiver wire, and we had like 2 other really good quarterbacks.
I feel like we had Trevor, Herbert, and Dart. And
it was. And we were using Herbert early in the year, and then it was Dart in the middle. And then we had T-Law, and we smashed. And then that team just fizzled out.
You couldn't have done any better than playing it like that.
Yeah, we had a really good team last year with Rich. That team had JSN too. That team had everybody.
Hey, JSN was all you. You caped up for him, and we had him on multiple teams, and that worked out really well.
Uncle Ted, you only need. Yeah, absolutely. I agree that you only need 2 quarterbacks, and back in the day, we would draft a naked quarterback build. I mean, not me and Scott, but that was in vogue. But the thing is, like, you roll with the punches. If you drafted 5 years ago in NFFC and in NFFC, you'd see the occasional 1 quarterback builds. You don't see that ever. That never happens anymore. Mevis goes, so we lose out on one of the 2 kickers from our queue.
Yeah, I like Mevis.
TX Breeder, there's that guy was in the queue, so that's a nice read there. Really appreciate the chat. Even the haters, the faders, and the doubters in the chat, we appreciate them all. This has been a fun team to build. Really interesting team. I'll throw one guy in the queue, though, Scott, and I'm just going to get your read on him. And then just see where your head's at on this one.
I mean, I love the kicker you have in there.
Yeah, so let's take the kicker. And also, we are officially kicker and defense here. I'm going to look at the defense. Well, that's because we can't take anything but a kicker and defense in the last 2 rounds here.
Who did you want, Najee?
I was gonna ask your opinion on Najee.
Yeah, shout out Uncle Ted. I mean, I don't know. I don't need another handcuff running back.
Yeah, I mean, I think is there the Tyrone Tracy stuff? Do you think there's Singletary's there and Tracy's there? Who could be the odd man out with Najee there?
I don't know. I wasn't listening. I have 40 text messages from my UFC group chat reminding me I'm missing out on Dana White Contender Series to do this for you.
I don't know what that is. Scott, you have an alter ego. I don't even know if it's an alter ego, but you also do like a UFC podcast. So we take Jake Bates in round 19.
You're going to have Lions are going to finish top 3 in scoring this year. Yeah, their kicker should have went 2 rounds ago.
And we only get 1 Lion, as Scott says, that the Lions, I agree, the Lions are awesome this year. I made a comment the other day on Jacob Gibbs' show that I think, or actually also here with Dave Kluge, that I think Jared Goff is this year's version of Matthew Stafford last year. Yeah, why are you off of Jared Goff?
Because it's a 1 QB league where all that matters is top 5 upside, and I only draft guys with mobility. But yeah, I mean, I see it. So like I made that argument last year. I was saying, dude, Jared Goff could easily win MVP. All that it would take is him stat padding touchdowns like Matthew Stafford did last year, where it was like, hey, let's have our quarterback win MVP and just chuck it up to Davante Adams every single play. Where every single year the Lions rank bottom 5 in pass rate over expectation inside the 10-yard line. If that just magically shifted to top 8, top 7, Stafford I think was like 6th last year. No, was 2nd or 3rd. Then yeah, he could easily, because he's top 3 in passing yards every single season. And over the last 3 years, no quarterback has more passing yards than Jared Goff. It's really just, he just needs to be a little bit more stingy and selfish inside the red zone.
I hear you. I think that there's a chance.
So I think that's a great take, Theo, is what I was saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think also just with like the secondary has issues in Detroit this year. And then, Scott, when you look at that division, we just took Kyler Murray as our QB3 in our 3 QB build. But when you look at that division, Ben Johnson year 2, Green Bay could be a little more open this year. Some good weapons at wideout, Tucker Kraft back. And then certainly Chicago with Ben Johnson year 2. That could be a shootout division too, where I think Detroit could get themselves in some shootouts. So I'm into it. One more pick here coming up in the final round. We are going to take a defense. Couple defenses to consider. I think that
I want no part of this, Theo. I don't want to waste my brain power on defense. You just, whoever you want is fine by me.
That sounds fine. So the one pick you don't have a say in is the final pick defense. Okay, Scott, I see how it is.
I was just protecting our team from you in the earlier rounds. It's hard to screw up a.
I mean, upside used to mean.
Pick.
I actually love the fact that we set the main event high with Casey Concepcion. I think that's like incredibly on brand. We've been high on him together during the NFL draft and the process.
Well, are you going to do what my favorite
100%,
thing in the world?
100%. We're going to save that for
my favorite thing in the world. So make sure you're not logging out, because who cares about a defense pick? You're in for a treat. You're in for a real treat.
Yeah, and shout out to the person asking if the Chargers defense went yet. Yes, they did. And the Chargers defense has a really nice run out of early season games. They actually were selected in round 16. So that's a nice call out. A couple of defenses sort of stand out here. And really we can sort of chase the week 1 matchups. There's also one free look defense on the board. So we'll see sort of how this goes. I'm pulling up the schedule here, Scott.
Are we going with the free look, Theo?
People love when I say the word free look. There's one defense who is not really that great, but they are certainly a free look. And then if we're looking to play the matchups, there's one matchup everybody's sort of chasing. And I'm pulling up this. I've sort of liked a couple of these defenses. I think Buffalo's sort of the interesting one. The kind of the vibes, Buffalo on the road in Houston. Could that be a game that sort of tilts Buffalo's direction?
So I was just thinking of that. Like, I'm like, losing Sean McDermott, there's no way their defense is better. But in FFPC, there's points against isn't a thing, right?
It's not big. If it's like a massive points against, it comes into play. But I think I'm down to 3 defensive options. I think we're probably in good shape with these 3.
Did Detroit go? Well, yeah. Why'd you remove Detroit from it?
I'm worried about the. I mean, it's week 1. They're playing New Orleans. I get it. It's not like a unbelievable matchup for them.
Dude, Tyler Shuck kind of sucks. Like, if we're being honest, there's so much hype around him. He's really not that good.
Yeah, they're not the worst.
He had the best strength of schedule last year, and he was an overdrafted whatever.
I think that the defense for me comes down to, if the free look is there, we just take advantage of it, even though it's a game that could go completely south. Kansas City, the vibes are pretty good right now on how that defense is playing out. I think KC's interesting. They have the opener against Denver, so that's really not like a great matchup, especially considering we're probably going to be starting Bo Nix. Green Bay's interesting just on is there growing pains with Kyler? And then Tennessee's interesting because you've got that game where the Jets play Tennessee. Could that just be an awful, awful game where it's a slugfest and maybe Tennessee gets to the quarterback. Geno game 1. So, and Tennessee, that game is in Tennessee. So they're sort of an interesting streamer. We are in round 20 here. We can give a quick recap of our team. We started out with Puka Nacua in round 1, debated Brock Bowers and Nacua head-to-head, Omarion Hampton in round 2. I think that fell really well for us. Made an argument for Colston Loveland, and then Tyler Warren in round 3. So end up with wide receiver, running back, tight end, then Cam Scatterbo, Jadarian Price, George Kittle, Casey Concepcion, Michael Wilson, good value, Stephon Diggs, good value. Jordan Addison we end up taking over Terrence Ferguson. We tilted out on that. Marshawn Lloyd in round 11.
Oh.
We're a couple
Sorry,
picks
shouldn't
away.
have interrupted you, but yeah, Chad just reminded me of Charlie Kolar. Where did he go? If he's not off the board, he's an amazing pick.
We can't take Charlie Kolar.
I know we
here.
can't, but
Is he an amazing pick?
yeah.
I know that you're one of a few that like Charlie Kolar.
I mean,
know
round
Trey
20,
Campbell,
anyone's an amazing pick, honestly. James Conner was an amazing pick. Shout out that guy.
And again, a reminder to everybody, we have to take a defense here. Dallas, somebody's caping up for Dallas. I believe they were picked. Yeah, Dallas was picked, guys.
I have 50 messages from my UFC group chat. The last 2 were, this was like the best ever.
Aren't the UFC fights usually on Saturday nights?
Yeah, but it's Dana White Contender Series. Come on.
All right, well, there we go. I'm sure you're going to get caught up when this is over.
Paramount Plus, yeah, they're a sponsor of Fantasy Points, so shout out to Paramount Plus and the UFC.
Paramount Plus, the UFC, and Stella Artois all decided that with Theo Gremminger gone, they could jump on. There we go. Okay,
they were willing to take that liability. You never know what Theo Gremminger is going to say on a live stream.
You know, I like the idea of Green Bay against Minnesota in Kyler's first start, and I think the game's in Minnesota. Tennessee gets the game against New York.
Who does Detroit play?
Detroit plays against New Orleans at home, but
yeah,
but
I like Detroit
let's do this
here personally. But it's a defense. It doesn't matter.
Let's do this. We're gonna take San Francisco for the free look. Then we'll just see if it's a chaos thing and we get a pick 6 and a special teams touchdown. What's our bar for keeping them in the lineup? So we take 49ers and we lock in the free look defense there. So we have a couple of free look players. I know everybody likes, I think it was like a drinking game here. And the shout out to Pizza Machine, Jets and Titans, that's the one. So you have access, both are going to be OTs available. You can grab one. If the 49ers defense doesn't perform, you just cut them and pick up another defense. It's sort of the free look thing. And apparently I think there's a drinking game for some people that watch my streams. Scott, when I say the word steam, when I say free look, I've got a couple other Theo words that they like. So big shout out Joe King sticking in the chat. All right, we're going to give a rundown and we're going to say, how does this team win $1 million, Scott? How does this team win $1 million?
This is my favorite thing that I cannot do this. Like, it's a rare talent you have. This is my favorite. This is why I draft these teams and let you take these dog shit players because.
Okay, and also you draft these teams because we win money with these teams. So a lot of haters out there in the streets. We were 3 for 4 last year. We've drafted 2 main event teams. We're going to draft a third. We'll see if we can keep that wonderful hit rate.
2 for 2 the year before that too.
2 for 2 the year before that. We've run very pure. And a lot of times the people love coming out and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, and shout out to everybody for saying the Jets and the Titans. We can take a look at the 49ers game, and then we can cut them and add in a defense that's on the waiver wire. It's just a free look is something you don't want to pass up on. All right, we are going to go through it here. This is how this team wins $1 million, okay? Puka Nacua has a season that actually surpasses 2021 Cooper Kupp. He averages 27 points per game. Devontae Adams regresses, and everything gets peppered to Puka Nacua. He ends up with 195 targets. He ends up leading the NFL in catches, receiving yardage, and he has what's a touchdown upside season for Puka, Scott?
12,
like we give him
14.
let's give him 13. We'll cut it right in the middle. Omarion Hampton leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns. on his way to being a top 5 pick in 2027. He has 15 rushing touchdowns, is a massive edge pick at the end of round 2. Tyler Warren finishes as the tight end 1 overall. He has
ahead of Brock Bowers, ahead of Trey McBride.
We're talking about how we win $1 million. We're not talking about how we win $100K. We're not talking about finishing 5th here.
He had the best college football season or the best tight end season in college football history. So,
all right, there we go. So we're going to go. Tyler Warren finishes tight end 1 overall, 110 catches, an absurd target share, leads Indianapolis by a mile, and on top of that, Jonathan Taylor misses 5 games.
Ooh.
They line up Tyler Warren in the Taysom Hill snaps. He adds 5 rushing touchdowns on top. He just sort of breaks fantasy at tight end. Cam Scatterbo stays healthy, averaged 16 points a game last year. He averages 16 again this year, ends up with double-digit touchdowns, catches a bunch of passes, 16.5 points per game out of the 4th round. Jadarian Price ends up with 1,000 rushing yards, 12 touchdowns, ends up being a really big-time touchdown scorer. So we get a ton of touchdown equity out of him.
He's Kenneth Walker in the playoffs last year. That's all it is. It's the same thing.
There we go. Kenneth Walker, part 2. It just continues with Jadarian Price. And for FFPC drafters out there, this is your riser. This is your free look riser. Jadarian Price falls in the end zone twice in the opener. Jadarian Price ends up going 25 picks earlier. And Scott, he catches a ball out of the backfield and rips off a 40-yard gain on a 40-yard catch and run. The haters, doubters, and faders are in complete disarray when he does that. Doesn't find the end zone there. We'll make it 2 rushing touchdowns. George Kittle plays 16 games, finishes as the tight end 3 overall, behind only Tyler Warren and Brock Bowers. Kittle has a fantastic year. Mike Evans is injured, and everything runs through George Kittle. Casey Concepcion wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, averages 15 points per game, is just a massive riser in next year's draft. Michael Wilson leads Arizona in all receiving categories behind at the wide receiver position. Michael Wilson ends up finishing as the wide receiver 15, shows last year was not a fluke, and he parlays it into a massive free agent deal next offseason. Stephon Diggs out-targets and out-produces Terry McLaurin. He is the alpha dog in Washington. Wow. The DMV reunion here. Stephon Diggs averages 14 points per game. Jordan Addison ends up being the spike week guy. We get back to Jordan Addison for the first 2 years of his career when he had 19 touchdowns over, I believe it was 19, Scott, over the first 2 years of his career. Catches 9 touchdowns, and we get him in this deep. When the weeks that we start Jordan Addison, he finds the end zone. That's just sort of the run out. Josh Jacobs gets injured or gets suspended, and we end up with Marshawn Lloyd as the starting running back in Green Bay. Bo Nix with his first top 5 quarterback finish ever. Bo Nix parlays all this offensive talent around him, the best offensive line in football, finishes as the QB8 as a rookie, QB11 last year in points per game. This year finishes as a top 5 scorer, also rushes for 7 touchdowns, continues to produce on the ground. He is the Exodia quarterback for Scott heading into 2027. Rashid Shaheed. Scott, you can do this one. What's the bull case for Shaheed? I'm running out of gas on this one. Shaheed catches 10 touchdowns.
Once upon a time, his numbers were indistinguishable from Chris Olave in games they were both healthy, yards per route run, first downs per route run, basically identical. And so, yeah, wasn't fully healthy, joined a brand new team midway through the season. Rashid Shaheed going to have the JSN year that JSN had last year. This is the new alpha number 1.
Oh my God! He usurps JSN. I'll say,
that's not
Scott, your love of Rashid Shaheed runs so deep that it's why Scott Barrett is the lowest on Chris Olave of any fantasy analyst right now in the universe, because Rashid Shaheed. But Rashid Shaheed ends up being, let's call him wide receiver 17 on the year. Ends up having a really good year. JSN still is JSN, but Shaheed has... Can we give him 110 targets, Scott? Can we get Chris Wecht over there to give him 110 targets and adjust that tonight?
I mean, wide receiver 17 is a little high. Let's give him wide receiver 29.
29. Okay, we'll take it. We'll take it.
This team, yeah.
Okay, Malik Willis leads all quarterbacks in rushing yardage. He has 875 rushing yards and 9 rushing touchdowns. We end up actually seeing him a little bit better as a passer. His touchdown totals are better than what we saw with Justin Fields when Justin Fields finished as a QB5. Malik Willis, can we give him 20 touchdown passes this year, Scott? How many can we give him?
We can give him 20. Yeah.
Okay, we give him 20.
Malik Willis is good. People think he sucks. He's Justin Fields 2.0. He's good.
Okay, and then we go Kyler Murray, big bounce
back. Better than Kyler Murray.
Okay, but for this argument, Kyler Murray ends up finishing as the QB8 overall. We are in complete, do not even know who to start some weeks because all of our quarterbacks are running so pure.
We can't miss, Theo. How about
we
that?
literally can't. We can't miss. But Kyler Murray finishes as the QB8, parlays his year in Minnesota into a big contract extension, sort of resets the bar for the rest of his career. Obviously, he supports Jordan Addison. He also supports Justin Jefferson. A lot of pressure internally in Minnesota to make Kyler Murray their quarterback of the future. Jake Tonjes does nothing because, except George Kittle takes off week 1 in Australia. Jake Tonjes has 11 catches in some weird performance, and we parlay those points. Malik Washington ends up leading second in Miami in receptions behind Devon Achane because we're rooting for Achane, and we have him in another main event team. But Malik Washington ends up being the wide receiver 30. He's sort of the out there guy that sort of comes out of nowhere and is viable in fantasy. Halani does nothing, but he backs up Jadarian Price. He's there for the ride. Jake Bates is kicker 1 overall. The Exodia kicker, it cannot fail. Jake Bates. And San Francisco defense, 49ers win against the Rams in week 1. And the 49ers defense has a pick 6 and a special teams touchdown. And we just bank those points. And we say, thank you for your service, San Francisco. We're going to add another defense, but we get that one big week. So there we go, guys. That's how we do it. Scott, the two of us are drafting a team maybe next week over on your channel. And then we'll probably do one more over on this channel. We're going to have to chop it up and negotiate. Let us know in the chat. Do you want to see two-time FFPC 350 champion Abib Agbatoba with Scott and I over here, or do you want to see Rich Haribar with Scott and I over here? We'll chop it up. Maybe we'll do both over at your spot, Scott, or we'll probably do 1-1. Really fun stuff.
The chat just is clamoring for more Scott Barrett. They're saying this is the best show they've ever witnessed in their life. This should be your guest for every single show you do. You shouldn't do a single show without me. And so just thank you for the chat, for the kind words. Yeah. We'll see if I can be here again. Yeah, I don't know. Well,
listen, the collabs are great. We're negotiating behind the scenes. We'll see about that one. And then one more, what are the free looks? Somebody joined us late. There's the Seattle New England game and there's the San Francisco LA game. You can take those players in and out of your lineup before the start of Sunday's
Thursday
action.
Game and the what game?
There's a Wednesday and Thursday, no Friday. So you get Seattle, New England.
For week 1, there's a Wednesday game?
Wednesday opener.
I didn't even know that.
Wednesday opener. You learn something new every time you podcast
is
with me.
Is this the first Wednesday opener ever?
Yes, I believe so. But we don't get that Friday game, which the Friday game has been awesome. I love the Friday game. That Brazil game with Green Bay, Philadelphia was that was so enjoyable. But we get Wednesday, we don't get Friday, and then we're back at it. We are right around the corner, dropping shows every single day. If you like, I have John Daigle drafting with me end of the week for a 350. When are you going
to give me a plug? When does your guest get a plug?
We literally
is
plugged.
RotoWire so desperate for clicks that you got to give like a 15-minute plug every.
Hold on a second. I had Zane Donani on my show.
Who's that?
Former Fantasy Points. But Ryan Heath twice on this channel. Ryan Heath, the shows people love.
I'm surprised he do your show. He's a tough guy.
Ryan
He's
Heath.
A big name.
Ryan Heath does not say no to his boy. I'm his favorite guy to podcast with in the world. And Ryan Heath and I ran Pure. I got Brett Whitefield coming on. I mean, what else do we want here? Oh, and I have noted injury expert Jeff Mueller, who works for Destination Debbie, but he might. I think Scott's giving him an article this year over on this. No, I'm just joking. Jeff Mueller, who's
best injury expert in the game. I said that before he started working with us. He's the best in the game.
Yeah, and no kidding aside, follow everything Scott does. We podcast together 100 times, and it's enjoyable every time. And the work you put out is excellent. YouTube channel over there in good hands with Brett Whitefield and Scott Barrett. A lot of people are watching your shows and my shows every single day. Really appreciate it. The crossover people, and continue to do that. We'll do more collabs. Look for me over on Scott's channel. Look for Scott to come back here. And stick with us here at RotoWire. We're dropping shows that can help you win every day. Tomorrow morning, my big preseason winners and losers drops. Make sure you check out today. I dropped my PPR rankings pod.
All right, come on.
A lot
let's
of good
wrap
stuff.
this up, Theo.
Scott, I'm going to send you the article. Awesome drafting with you. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And really appreciate all the support over here throughout the month of July and August. Stick with us here at RotoWire. We're going to help you crush your leagues this season.